Hello everyone. So we're going to have a calculus exercise and ang topic natin is about integration. Basically, it is a process of getting the integral of a function. So this exercise basically give us a time to practice. So dito pa lang, kung makikita nyo, I've made 3 exercises so far. And my new rule is that maximum of 14 problems na lang kaysa naman 20 kasi medyo mahaba yun. So what more pa kaya kapag meron tayong mga next exercises such as part 2 at part 3. Because as we proceed to the next exercise, pahirap to ng pahirap ng mga tanong. So next exercise, meaning expect that there will be a harder question than the previous exercise we just answered. Okay? So maximum of 14 problems in total. Pero minimum, if you're asking me, minimum 10 questions. Okay? 10 questions minimum. And midway of the total problems given in an exercise, there shall be a rest session or break session. So as you can see, in this first exercise, we're going to have a rest period after we answer the 7th problem. Okay? So this rest period basically has a duration of 20 to 30 minutes. So kayo bahala kung ano mang time na pipiliin nyo. So pagdating natin dito sa rest session, pause the video after I gave some short reminders. Tapos yun, mag-set na kayo ng timer. Then relax lang kayo. Don't wait for it. Just relax. Then once it alarms, let's go back in answering this exercise. Okay? So, gano'n lang naman yun. Balak ko lang kasi is to have a lecture discussion. Alright? So, if ever, yun nga, if you're here just to, get the answers lang, kumbaga skip-skip lang kayo, edi kayo bahala. Alright? It's not a problem. Kasi nga, exercise lang naman to. But if you're here willing to listen, no problem. Okay? Sige. So I have nothing else to say. So let's proceed answering this exercise by starting answering this first problem. Okay? So let's go. So dito sa first problem, we are asked to find the integral of 4x cubed plus 2x squared plus 10x minus 1. So dito, as you can see, it's actually easy. Do you know why? Kasi we can integrate each of these terms one by one. No complicated scenario happened here. Kasi this one already looks simple. Okay? So, dito, we can now just simply or, directly integrate them all. Madali na to. So, dahil dyan, what would be the rules of integration to be used to get the answer for this problem? Before that, let me give you first the basic rules muna. Okay, basic rules muna tayo, guys. Okay? The first thing is you need to be aware of your D at saka yung kapartner niya. Why? Kasi there are times na magkakaiba yung letter. Kasi yung letter nito, ito, yung kapartner ni D, which is CX, yan yung magiging tawag nito, magiging independent variable mo. So, kunwari, let's just say, f of, blank lang to, blank ka. Tapos, ang kapartner ng d mo ay y. So, kapag ang kapartner ng d mo ay y, dapat yung independent variable ng function mo ay y dapat. Okay? So, let me put it in another way. Okay? So, if merong tayong, kunwari let's just say, x squared plus 2x. Kunwari lang given. 2x. Yan. Tapos yung d mo ay may kapartner ng y. This one, it's impossible. You cannot integrate this one. Okay? Dapat, kung ito ay y, dapat y na rin yung mga independent variable mo. So this would be 2y, kasi ito magiging y squared. Gets nyo ba? Alright? So, as always, look at the dx. Because itong si dx, ibig sabihin nun, yung independent variable mo rito, dapat x din. Kapag dy, dapat y yung gagamitin mo rito, hindi si x. Okay? And other letters. Okay? So, dito, sa problem natin, puro mga xx lang tayo eh. Puro xx. Pero what more pa kaya kapag iba namang di ba? Iba namang mga variables na ginamit instead ng x. Okay? So, in other words, if yung kapartner ng d mo, which is, let's just say, cx, then yung independent variable mo rito ay x. Kapag si y ay kapartner ng d, dapat si y ang magiging independent variable mo. Okay? That's it. Second is, let's just say, meron kayong mga terms. Tulad dito. So let's just say meron kayong integral of f of x plus g of x plus h of x, so on and so forth. Okay, at mararami pang iba. Let's just say focus tayo sa dalawa. Ito lang, to lang. So what if you have two functions? Okay? So dito, ang ibig sabihin nun, magiging integral of f of x plus the integral, teka lang. Sorry. Wait lang. Medyo magulo. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, this is integral of f of x plus integral of g of x. Ayan. So, kung ano napapansin nyo rito is that itong si elongated na s, kasi parang na-stretch si letter s eh. Tapos si dx, ginamit itong dalawa, tapos dinidistribute nito isa't isang term. Okay? To each term, dinidistribute niya. Kaya yun, each of the term or function, that would be far better to say it, may kanyang-kanya silang elongated na s at saka si dx. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin nito, integrate natin sila isa-isa, hindi buo. Okay? Gets nyo? So, even if na mayroong minus sign, or positive, still, integrate natin sila isa-isa. Positive yung sign mo rito, meaning addition or subtraction, still, integrate natin sila isa't isa. Pero iba na yun kapag usapang division at multiplication. Nasa next exercise na yun. Okay? And last but not the least is, let's just say meron kang constant at katabi mo ay function. So, let A be constant. Diba? When I say constant, number to ha, number. So, meaning, it could be a rational number or an irrational number. Pwede rin tong pi, pwede rin tong 20 or negative, whatsoever. So, anong gagawin natin dito? So, dito, alright, if ever meron kang parang constant at katabi mo ay yung function na to, it could be anything It could be trigonometric, logarithmic, exponential, algebraic, so on and so forth. Ang gagawin mo lang, ilabas mo lang si constant. So, a times the integral of the function. Meaning, okay, in other words, wag mong galawin si constant. Okay? Wag mong galawin si constant. Tapos na. Ang galawin mo lang is yung katabi niya. Okay na guys? Okay na. So yun, these are the basic things na kailangan nyong malaman. So now, let's proceed to the rules. Haba naman, David. Sorry na. Okay? Just giving you a glimpse or giving you a background. Okay? Or basic things na dapat nyong alamin in case na hindi nyo alam. Okay? So, burahin ko to. You can skip this one ha kung ayaw nyo ha. But yep, let's go back. What are the rules to be used? Since meron tayong variable na x, tapos meron tayong constant term na si -1, so dalawang rules of integration gagamitin natin dito. Una, ang gagamitin natin is yung tinatawag nating power rule of integration, na kung saan meron kang variable, tapos yung variable na yun, meron siyang exponent. Let n be the exponent. Okay? So by means of exponent, you know what I mean, which is ito, 3, 2, okay? So dito, ang resulta, if ever you're going to get the integral of this type of function, ang resulta ay x raised to n plus 1 all over n plus 1 plus capital C. Itong si C, constant of integration tawag mo rito itong si C constant of integration. Okay? So, you're going to put plus C after you integrate everything. Okay? Kumbaga sa dulo mo ilagay. Pero, mamaya explain ko. Then last but not the least, i-apply natin na tinatawag natin na constant rule of integration. Kumbaga, si constant na lang ang natitira. Meaning, integration for a constant term. So, let's just say meron kang constant term dito. Okay? Number lang, wala siyang variable. So, ano kaya maging resulta niya? Ang resulta niya is just basically add x next to it. Or add random variable, random tuloy. Add a independent variable next to it. And tapos na tayo. Ganun lang. Okay? Dagdagan mo lang ng x, tapos na tayo. Alright? So, we can now apply these rules sa problem na to. Okay? Let me change the color. So, dito na lang tayo para may space. So, dito. So, ang gagawin natin muna is i-distribute natin tong si elongated s at saka si dx for each of the term para mas get nyo. So, from this to magiging ganito. Integral of 4x cubed dx plus the integral of 2x squared dx plus the integral of 10x dx minus the integral of 1 dx. Okay? Or, kung gusto niyo ng simplified, tanggalin mo lang to. I'm not kidding. This one, integral of blank, ibig sabihin nun, integral of 1. 1. Okay? Pero, kung malito man kayo, sige, lagyan natin ng 1. Okay? Basta kapag integral, tapos si dx lang nakita mo, ibig sabihin nun, constant term, and si 1 yun. Okay? So, let's go here. Okay na tayo. So, na yun, ang gagawin natin is, yun nga, ka-explain ko lang kanina, kapag meron kang constant, which is si 4, si 2, at saka si 10, and ang katabi mo ay isang function, and remember, ang function, it could be anything else. Alright? It could be algebraic, trigonometric, and so on and so forth. Itong yung mga naka-x, algebraic function to. So, anong gagawin natin? Ilabas natin yung mga constant nila. Okay? Kasi ang tawag muna sa kanila ay coefficient. So, this would be 4 times the integral of x cubed dx plus 2 times the integral of x squared dx yan plus 10 times the integral of x and ang huli ay integral ng 1. Sinusulat ko to para in case hindi kayo magkalito-lituhan. Kasi there are other problems na hindi pinapakita yung number 1. Okay? Kasi common sense, 1 na yun. Okay? Kasi we learned that in our junior high school math. Going back, okay, dito na tayo. So now, meron tayong ganito. We can now apply these rules. Una, let's start with the first term. Meron tayong x cubed. So, ang gagamitin natin is ito. Itong si power rule of integration. So, ano mangyari sa kanya? So, this is 4 times x raised to 3 plus 1. So, 3 plus 1 all over 3 plus 1. Accordingly, the power rule of integration. So, let's do that also to the second term. So, 2 times the, natuloy. Sorry, 2 times x raised to 2 plus 1 all over 2 plus 1 plus 10 times eto. Ano kayang gagamitin natin dito? So dito, we're going to use power rule na rin. Why? Why should we use power rule of integration? Simpleng x lang yan. Kapag ganito, parang similar case lang dito kanina na 'di ba parang kanina nga 'di ba wala diyan si 1, binura ko. Pero actually si 1 'yun, 'di ba? Gets niyo 'yun? Parang ganito, similar case lang dito. Kumbaga, x is also equal to x raised to 1. Yun, no, meron siyang invisible na exponent. Actually, guys, basic to eh. I'm not kidding. This is basic actually. So kapag meron kang ganito nakikita, x is equal to x raised to 1, tama to. Kasi kapag mukha siyang disente, wala siyang exponents na 2, 3, o 0, o mga negative exponent, o mga positive na exponent. Ganyan lang siya. Ibig sabihin nun, meron siyang exponent na 1. So this is 10 times x raised to 1. Okay, kapag mukhang disente, automatic 1 yan. Okay, basic to. So yeah, okay, let's apply the power rule. So 1 plus 1 all over 1 plus 1. Minus, ito naman. Ito naman, isa siyang constant term. Okay, constant siya. So kapag constant siya, anong gagamitin natin? Ito. We are going to use this one. This one means kapag may constant term ka, ang gagawin mo, lagyan mo lang ng x. So from 1, magiging 1 times x. Or si x na lang matitira. Okay? Ganun lang yun. That's, if you're asking me kung bakit, ito yun eh. Imagine mo, 1 times 10, di ba 10 yan? So, 1 times x, x pa rin yan. 1 times dx, dx matitira. Which is why, kapag binura ko to, tong si 1, ibig sabihin niya, ng kapart na niyan ay si 1. Okay? 1 times dx is equal to dx. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung invisible dito, yung hindi mo makikita, si 1 yan. That's 1. Okay? So, gets mo? Si 1 yan. Okay? Kasi nga, kung anong katabi ng 1, ang sagot nun is yung katabi mo. Anything multiplied by 1, ang sagot nun ay anything. Okay? Kaya nga dito nga eh, ang katabi ni 10 ay si 1. So, 1 times 10 is equal to 10. Diba? So, yun yung maging resulta mo. But yeah, yun lang naman sasabi ko guys. Yun lang, share ko lang. Okay? So, tapos na tayo rito, no? Tapos na. So, binalik ko ulit dito si 1 ha, para again, kung hindi nyo gets, much better na isulat nyo na lang siya. Okay? So, na yun, na-integrate natin lahat sila, di ba? So, don't forget to put plus C. Explain ko to maybe after ng pagsagot natin ng problema na bakit sa plus C natin siya ilalagay. Yung sa dulo, like after we answer the problem. So for now, let's go back. Let's now further simplify this one. So ito, maging 4 times x raised to 4 all over 4 plus 2 times x raised to 3 all over 3 plus 10 times x squared all over 2 minus x plus c. So, pwede ko pa itong i-simplify kasi there are terms there na pwede ko siyang, wait lang, mukhang mali ito, dapat dito. Okay? Ayla, wait lang guys. Yeah. Medyo nalag ako nun Sorry. Okay, so this is 3. Yeah. So ito, there are terms doon na pwede ko siyang i-simplify. Una, itong si first term. Basically, ito, ang mangyari dyan is maka-cancel si 4, yung sa taas at saka sa baba. So, magiging x raised to 4 siya. Okay? Why? Kasi dito, if you're going to multiply a whole number and a fraction, ang mangyari dyan, mapupunta taas, tama. Mapupunta yung whole term sa taas at mag-combine sa numerator. Magiging ganyan siya. Okay? So ito, meron ka ng 4x raised to 4 over 4. Okay? 4x raised to 4 all over 4. Okay? So in other words, 4x raised to 4 divided by 4. Yan yung ibang kasabihan yun. So, ibig sabihin yun, i-divide mo to yung numerator by 4. So, syempre, 4x raised to 4 divided by 4 is just simply 1 times x raised to 4 or x raised to 4. X raised to 4. Yan. That's it. Okay na. So, ganun lang yun, guys, ha? So, next, dito naman, sa second term, nakasimplified na to eh. Okay? So, ito, ang gagawin mo na lang, ipagsama mo na lang si 2 at saka si x cube. Tapos, yan. Tapos na tayo dyan. Okay? Simple na. Dito naman, itong sa third term, i-simplify natin to. Bakit? Because si 10 at saka si 2 are both divisible by 2. Okay? So ito, si 10 magiging 5. Bakit? Because again, 10 is divisible by 2, di ba? So 10 divided by 2, 5. Dito naman sa baba, si 2 ganun din. 2 is also divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So ano mangyari dyan? So 5 times x squared magiging 5x squared. Or to put it on another way, katulad kanina, yung ginawa ko sa first term, 10 times x squared all over 2, di ba? So, ibig sabihin nun, 10x squared all over 2. So, again, 10x squared all over 2 siya. So, ibig sabihin nun, 10x squared divided by 2. So, obviously, this is what? Okay, divide mo lang to, magiging 5x squared. O, di ba? It's easy. So, teka lang, David. Basic naman to. Bakit mo to i-introduce sa amin? We are already mga college na kami. O kaya, high school ako, may alam mo rito. Good point. Pero may iba dyan hindi alam. Okay? May iba dyan hindi talaga alam. Mahina sila rito. Okay? Kaya nga, diadahanan ko as much as possible. So, yun. After that, yun, minus x. Yun lang siya. So, minus x lang siya. Kumbaga, simplified na siya. Wala naman siyang pwedeng gawin. Hanggang dyan lang siya. Tapos, plus, and that is your final answer. Yun lang, guys. That's it. That is your final answer. I take it slowly, ha? Slowly but surely. Okay? So again, basically, etong sa first, second, at saka sa third term, we use power rule. Nilabas natin muna yung coefficient, tapos kunin natin integrate nilang tatlo, tapos i-simplify natin and combine natin. Ito yung sagot nila. While for the last term, constant term lang siya. So, we are going to use this one. Okay, this rule for the constant term. Ang gagawin na lang natin is dagdag lang natin ng x. Tapos na tayo. Okay? So, yun lang. Okay? Next problem is ito. Dito naman, as you can see, yung katabi ng mga coefficients natin o yung mga constant ay hindi algebraic. Kasi compared to the first problem, ang katabi ng mga constant ay yung mga x, di ba? X cubed, x squared, x, di ba? So this one, obviously, algebraic function yan. Pero, ito naman, hindi to algebra. This is what? Trigonometry. Okay? Trigonometric function, to be particular. Okay? Trigonometric function. So ito naman, this one is easy. Easy naman to. Okay? There's no need for you to simplify. Okay? So, Dahil dito, ang kukunin na lang natin is yung integral nito, nito, at saka ito. Okay? So that means we're going to use 3 rules of integration for these type of functions. Una, para kay tangent. Let me use different color. Okay? Para kay tangent, ang integral ni tangent is either negative ln of cosine x plus t or wait lang, ayusin ko lang tong letter R. Yan. Or ln ln of secant x. Yan. Plus either of the two. Okay? Mamili lang kayo dyan. It's okay. Okay? Next naman si secant. Ano naman ang integral ng secant? Ang integral ng secant ay ln of secant x plus tangent x plus t. Ayan. Ganun lang siya. And last but not the least, si cosine. Actually, ito mas madali pa to kaysa mga sa mga nalistahan natin mga rules of integration. Si cosine x is just simply sin x. Tapos na. Yun lang siya. No kidding. Yun lang siya, guys. Okay? Ganun lang siya. Wait lang ha. Wait. Yan. Inayos ko yung letter N. Okay? So, bakit kaya ito lang? Why not may mga iba pang rules of integration na i-apply natin. Tulad nito, meron tayong pi. Diba mukha siyang variable? Diba dapat kaya may mga rules or methods para kay pi at saka sa isang function? Kasi guys, si pi, isa siyang constant term. Okay? Constant lang siya. Yes, mukha siyang variable kasi iba symbol yan, di ba? Pero hindi siya kasi variable eh. It is just a symbol or representation ng isang irrational number. If you guys don't know, pi is approximately 3.14. And kung kukunin mo yung exact value nito, napakahaba. 3.14, etc. 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 and so on and so forth. Mararaming decimal values to. And according sa recent news na nakita ko sa social media, umabot na ng trillion, trillion decimal value. So imagine gagamitin mo 'yun, ang haba nun, di ba? So why not just use itong symbol na to? Okay? It is not a variable, rather it is just a symbol or representation ng isang irrational number which is the 3.14 by approximate. Okay? So yun, constant lang siya. Just like everyone else given in this problem. Si 20, square root of 2, at saka si pi, constant number lang sila. Okay? That is why, ang focus lang natin is yung mga trigonometric function. So dito magsulat ng solution kasi wala na ako space doon. Okay? So dito, ang gagawin natin, isa-isay natin to i-distribute ng elongated na s at saka si dx. So this would be integral of 20 tangent x plus, teka lang. Ayan, teka lang ha. That's it. The integral of square root of 2 times secant of x minus the integral of pi times cosine of x. May nakalimutan akong lagyan ng dx dito. Wait lang. I-clean ko na lang. Okay, so this is square root of 2 times secant x dx. Ayan. So that's it. So, again, one of the basic rule, ilabas natin si constant. Okay, labas natin siya. So, magiging 20 times the integral of tangent x dx plus square root of 2 times the integral of secant x dx minus pi times the integral of cosine x. O, diba? So, na yun, we can now simply integrate these following functions. So, ito, 20 times anong integral ng tangent x? So, ito, si negative ln of cosine x or si negative ln of secant x. Ako, pipiling ko lang ito. So, magiging 20 times ln of secant x. Yan. Plus, dito naman, square root of 2 times integral ng secant x is this one. So, magiging times ln of secant x plus tangent x. Ayan. Minus pi times the integral of cosine x. So, ano yung integral ng cosine x? P sine x. So, this would be pi times cosine x. Ay, cosine x. Allah, naduling na. Sorry. Sine x. Ayan. So, na-integrate na natin to lahat. So, lagyan natin ng plus c sa dulo. Okay. Yan. Yan na yung sagot. Sige. Next, let's go to the third problem. This one, as you can see, parang intimidating. Dito pa lang, oh my God, ang hirap na. Bakit? Kasi mayroon kang term dito na fractional o kaya parang rational rational expression yata to kasi take a look. Meron kang number sa taas. And yung number na yun yung coefficient ng term nito. Kasi ito, meron kang sa denominator ay square root of 4 minus x squared. So you see, parang ang intimidating. Kasi dito pa lang, parang wala ka ng idea kung anong gagawin mo rito. Di ba? So unlike the others na dito sa first problem at saka second problem, madali lang eh. Dito, it looks intimidating. Kasi take a look, 2 over square root of 4 minus x squared, paano mo siya integrate, di ba? Tapos dito sa second term at saka sa third term, constant, tapos yung exponent mo ay x. So, ano gagawin natin dyan? Dito actually, para sa akin guys, this one is still, basta term, parang like, yun ito. In my opinion, simplified pa rin to. Yeah, no kidding. Simplified na to. Do you know why? Kasi, for this one, there is one rule for this one na pwede mo siyang gamitin. Okay? As long as ganyan yung format niya sa baba. Itong baba na to. Okay? Automatic, mayroong ng rules of integration na gagamitin mo para makuha mo yung sagot. Okay? Then on the other hand, ito yung mga terms na may exponent na x, meron naman silang kanyang rules of integration na pwede mo nang diretsong i-substitute or i-evaluate. Okay? So, kung ganun, then what would be the rules of integration na gagamitin natin? Okay. So, una, let's start first with this one. This one is easy. So, teka lang. Mali pala ako ng kulay. Yan. So, dito, what if meron ka raw constant term tapos meron siyang exponent na x? So what would be the answer for this one? So the integral of a constant that has an exponent of x or has an exponent of an independent variable itself is basically a raised to x all over ln of a. Yun lang, plus b. Wait lang, plus b. Yun lang guys. This one is easy. Okay? Kopyahin mo lang yung given, which is ito. Tapos, yung denominator niya, meron siyang logarithmic function na ln. Tapos yung a, yun yung constant term mo rito. Okay? Next naman is, para naman dito sa first term. So, tingnan nyo to ha. Una, you have a constant term. Okay? Meron kang constant term. Okay. Next, sunod nun is meron kang operation na subtraction, kumbaga minus. Then, meron kang isang term dito na naka-squared si x. O kumbaga naka-squared yung independent variable mo. Kahit na meron siyang coefficient or constant katabi ng x squared, still, basta naka-squared si x. Yun yung format niya. So kung ganun, ano yung magiging ano niya? Ito, rule of integration na pwede natin gamitin. So ito yun. Okay? So this would be 1 all over square root of a squared minus u squared du is equal to arc sine of u over a plus. So, wait a minute. Saan nakuha si 1? Medyo nagulo ako rito. At saka, bakit naging du? Okay, ba't naging du? Bakit may u? Bakit may a? Mamaya, explain natin yan. As long as you know the pattern dito sa baba. Constant term, tapos may minus, tapos merong term na may nakasquared na x. So, parang ganito lang yun. You have a constant, you have a minus sign, and you have a term na nakasquared. Okay? Kumbaga, ayun, wait lang. Sa dulo, meron kang term na nakasquared na may kasamang x. Okay? Or independent variable. Okay? So, yun na. So, let's try to solve it. Okay? Para makuha natin yung idea. So, isa-isay natin silang i-distribute. So, this would be 2 all over square root of 4 minus x squared dx plus the integral of pi raised to x dx minus the integral of 2 raised to x dx. Ayan. So, dito, usugin ko lang dito. Okay, dito. Let's start first with this one. Okay, this one. Itong yung unang term. Kasi nasa una na siya yung mauuna. Okay? So, ito, meron siyang coefficient na 2 or constant na 2. So, ibaba natin siya. So, this is 2 times the integral of 1 all over the square root of 4 minus x squared dx plus the integral of pi raised to x dx minus the integral of 2 raised to x. Ayan. Tapos na tayo dyan. So, let's focus on this one. Ito yung focus natin. Ito. Okay? So, dito, what we're going to do here is substitution. Okay, substitution ang gagamitin natin. So, I will use purple color here. Okay? So, una, wait lang pala. Sorry. Nabura ko pala ito. A squared to guys A squared A squared to guys A squared minus u squared. Okay. So, speaking of that, let's now focus sa baba. Okay, meron kang 4 minus x squared. So, look at this one. A squared minus u squared. Tapos ito, 4 minus x squared. You see the pattern? Nauna si constant, tapos sunod nun, meron kang operation subtraction which is si minus. Tapos sa dulo, meron kang term na naka-squared si x. Diba? So dito, we are going to what? We are going to basically convert this whole function into this para makuha natin tong sagot na to. Okay? So ngayon, let's now substitute. So ano yung isa-substitute natin muna? Okay? Actually, tama. Ano yung mga isa-substitute natin? Okay? Yung yung isa-substitute natin, yung ito at saka ito. Okay? Si 4 at saka si x squared. So, according daw dito, okay, di ba nauna raw si constant? So, meaning, siya ay a squared. So, that means, since si 4 ay nauna, therefore, yung 4 mo ay a squared. Nagagets ba? Okay. Kasi di ba, una si constant, tapos may minus, tapos may squared na x, di ba? Or x squared. Kahit na may kasamang coefficient yun or constant, basta may x na naka-squared, di ba? So dito, sa pattern na to, itong si A, constant siya, di ba? So since they are in the same position and the same format, ibig sabihin nun, yung nasa unahan, yun yung constant mo. Therefore, siya yung a squared mo. Okay na? Okay na guys ha? Okay na ha? Sige. So na yun, ito yung next step. Kunin natin si A. Hindi yung a squared ha, kundi si A mismo. So how can we get A? Alright? So by getting the A, just simply, what? Square root both sides. Okay. So square root natin si 4, makukuha natin si A. So what is the square root of 4? 2. Okay? Yun lang. That's it. Okay na guys? Okay na? Yun. Then the next thing is kunin natin si u squared. So sabi ko kanina, si u squared, yun yung nasa dulo. And yung si u, yun yung may x. O yun yung may x. So sino yung may x? Ito, di ba? So that means itong si x squared, siya si u squared. Therefore, u squared is equal to x squared. Okay, bakit kaya? Si A kasi, siya yung constant. Yung u, yun yung naka-squared na x or any independent variable. So, yun. Siya yun. Okay? Siya si u squared. So, na yun, kunin na natin si u. Okay, how can we get u? By getting the u, we're going to do the same thing as what we did here kanina, which is pagkuha natin ng a. So we're going to square root both sides. So matitira is u, di ba? So kung ganun, anong square root ng x squared? So ang sagot mo rito ay x. Okay? Ganun lang siya. So that's it. Now that we substitute 4 and x squared by a and u respectively, ano nang sunod? Ang sunod na gagawin natin is, let's convert dx into du. That's the last step. Convert dx into du. Okay? So how can we do that? Okay, how can we do that? We're going to do that by what? Getting the derivative of u. Kunin natin yung derivative ng u. So basically, okay, ang derivative ng u is what? 1, di ba? 1, di ba? Kasi Since u is equal to x, so what is the derivative of x? Si 1. Kasi if you recall, the derivative of a term na meron kang constant, tapos meron kang independent variable na x. Ano lang siya, x lang siya, wala siyang exponent na 2, 3, o 0, or any negative and positive numbers except 1. Kumbaga, ito lang siya. Ang ibig sabihin nun, si A na lang matitira. Kumbaga, tanggalin mo na si x, si A na lang matitira. Okay? Yun. Okay, guys? Yun lang yun. So, therefore, ang derivative ni x ay si 1. Kasi ang coefficient ng x ay si 1. And after you differentiate this one, don't forget to include dx. Okay? Huwag mong kalimutan si dx. Kasi since si x mo rito, yun yung di ba? Yun yung na differentiate, di ba? So after mo ma-differentiate si x, lagay mo rito dx. Okay? Pagkatapos mo i-differentiate itong si x, don't forget to put dx as its partner. Okay? Okay na ha? So, 1 dx. Or, I told you kanina na 1 times anything, kumbaga imumultiply mo si 1 kahit saan, ang resulta nun ay kahit saan. Meaning kahit saan. Okay? So, 1 times dx is just what? Dx. Okay? So, ganun lang yun, guys. Okay? That's it. Okay na, guys, ha? So, yun. Now that we're done converting, wait lang, guys, ha? Yun. Now that we're done converting du at saka baliktad. Now that nakuha natin yung dx, we can now simply convert dx into du. Okay? So, dahil dyan, we can now simply substitute. Sorry kung magulo magsalita. So, 2 times the integral of 1 all over square of sin 4 I squared minus sin si x squared ay u squared, therefore, u squared siya. Okay, u squared. The next, si dx. Since si dx is equal to du and du is equal to dx, pwede natin siyang i-convert from dx to du. And nakuha natin yung format nito. Okay? That's it. Tapos na tayo. Okay? So, sa mga di nakaget ka, again, i-substitute mo yung numbers by letters. Okay? Depende sa format. So, ito, magiging a squared, kunin mo si a, u squared, kunin mo si u, tapos para ma-convert mo si dx to du, hanapin mo muna yung value ng dx. And para gawin mo yun, kunin mo yung derivative ng u mo. So, ang derivative ng u mo is 1 dx or dx in short. So, therefore, ngayon, meron ka ng value ng dx, pwede mo lang i-substitute ng dx by du. So, nagiging du na siya sa result. Okay, guys? Kuha na ha? Okay na. So, how about this one? Pi raised to x. Madali lang. Ito yung gamitin mo. So, wait lang i-kopya ko muna ito lahat. Sorry. Kopya ko muna ito lahat. Okay? Plus the integral of 2 raised to x dx. Okay, yan. Yan. Maganda pa. There you go. So, now we can simply evaluate the integral of these terms. So, 2 times, anong integral nito? 1 over square root of a squared minus u squared. Sine tuloy. Arc sine pala. So, 2 times arc sine of u over A. Tapos na yan. Okay? Tapos na. Finish. Next, si pi raised to x. Ito ang apply natin. So, ang integral ng isang constant na may exponent na x ay pi raised to x all over ln of pi. You see the format? Parang kinopya mo lang yung given sa taas, tapos yung denominator mo, basically, ln of yung given na constant dito. So, kung ang constant mo rito ay pi, therefore, sa loob ng ln mo ay pi. Okay? So, same thing here. So, 2, okay, para sa kanya, ito rin gagamitin natin. So, integral of 2 raised to x is 2 raised to x all over ln of 2. Tapos na tayo. And since we already get the integral for each terms, so don't forget to put plus b. So are we done? The answer is hindi pa. Bakit? Let's substitute u and a again. Kumbaga, ibalik natin sila. Okay, let's put back the u at saka si a. So, 2 times arc sine of u. Ano yung u mo? Si x, di ba? So, magiging x all over si a. Ano yung a mo? Si 2. Okay? So, magiging 2. So, this would be 2 times arc sine of x over 2. Tapos yun, copy mo lang yung the rest. Ayan. Ganda ng sulat ko sa baba. Ulitin ko. Ganda ng sulat ko sa baba. Wait lang. Ayan. Set plus 2 raised to x all over ln of 2 plus. Ayan. There we go. We're done. See? Ano lang to guys ha? This is just a careful. Very slow ako mag-explain. Paulit-ulit ako mag-explain dito. Itong sa first term yung naka-square root na 4 minus x squared. Very slow ako talaga mag-explain. Kasi baka hindi nyo ito mag-get. Okay? Remember, first exercise pa lang ito. And ito pa lang, hindi to ganong mahirap guys. Ang mahirap is, yun nga, what if merong kang trinomial sa loob ng square root na yan? Iba na yun dun. So kumbaga ito pa lang parang basic pa lang to. Okay, anyways, let's proceed to the next problem. So dito naman, nako, intimidating din ang haba no. Pero this one is not that very intimidating at all. Remember what I told you before? Do you think complicated ba to? Mukhang itang complicated or intimidating o ano, 'di ba? So dito, yeah, complicated nga. Pero ito yung tanong. If you see it very complicated, do you think ba pwede siyang i-simplify? The answer is yes. Pwede siyang i-simplify into a simpler expression. Okay? From complicated to simple. Pwede yan. So, how can we do that? Etong si ln of x times 1 raised to cosine x. Ito, as you can see, pwede ko siyang i-simplify. So, ito, we're going to apply one of the laws of logarithm. Okay, so ano bang pwede kong gamitin ng kulay rito? Let's just use purple. Okay, so ito, si ln, okay, kunwari meron akong ln, medyo mali. Pangit ang sulat ko eh. Sorry. Sabi natin ln of a times b. Okay, kunwari lang ln of a times b. Kasi or ln of ab. Okay? Kahit may operation ng multiplication o wala, basta magkadikit sila, automatic i-multiply mo sila. So, ito, ang mangyari din sa kanya ay ln of A plus ln of B. Okay, ito mangyayari sa kanya. Okay, this is one of the laws of logarithm that you can use, okay, to further expand or simplify the logarithmic term or function rather. So dito, we can, simplify this one according to this rule. So mangyari sa kanya ay ito. So this would be the integral of ln of, wait lang, may nag-message. Sorry. Ln of x plus ln of 1 raised to cosine x minus e raised to 4x. Ayan siya. Okay, ayan. So, dito, do you think pwede pa natin siyang i-simplify? Pwede pa o hindi? The answer is yes, pwede pa. Okay? So, ano na namang method na gagamitin natin sa pag-simplify? So, we're going to use one of the laws of logarithm pa rin. At ano yun? Okay. So, let's just say meron kang logarithmic function na A plus meron kang exponent na B. Okay, kunwari itong si B, yun yung exponent mo ha. So ito, tinatawag natin na power rule of logarithm na kung saan, kung meron kang exponent, ang gagawin mo, babaan mo lang siya. So from ln of A raised to B to B times ln of A. Binamba lang natin si B. So saan natin to i-apply? I-apply natin yan. Sorry. I-apply natin yan dito. Okay? Sa gitna. Kumbaga. So, we can now rewrite this one as the integral of ln of x plus cosine x times ln of 1 minus e raised to 4x. Ayan na. So, big sabihin nun, tapos na tayo mag-simplify. Hindi pa tayo tapos. Why? Okay? Ito, pwede ko pa itong simplify. Itong si ln of 1. Pwede pa yan i-simplify. Pwede pa yan. Okay? So, meaning, we are going to use another, what? Another law of logarithm. Oo. So, in this particular case, let's just say you have ln of 1. Pag ln of 1 daw, anong ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin nito, sagot dito, or rather, to put it on different way, 0. Ln of 1 is equal to 0. Yan ang ilalagay natin yan. Saan? Dito. Okay, dito sa ln of 1. Therefore, ang mangyayari sa kanya ay integral of ln of x plus cosine x times 0 minus e raised to 4x. So what would be the final answer? Final answer tuloy. What would be now the simplified version na? So mangyari dyan, this is the integral of ln of x minus e raised to 4x. Ayan na siya. Okay, that's it. Finish. Yun na. So that means simplified na to. The answer is yes. Simplified na talaga. So let me draw the lines para hindi kayo magkakalito dito. Okay, ito. Itong si ln of a raised to b is equal to b times ln of a. So saan ko to nakuha? Basically, dito yun. Okay. Tapos itong si ln of 1 equal to 0, andito yun. Okay? That's it. So now, can we now find or look at what would be the rules of integration just to get the answer for this problem? The answer is yes. Pwede tayong kumuha. So wait lang let me use different color. So what we're going to use is two rules. Okay. Una is para kay ln of x. What would be the integral of ln of x? Ang integral ng ln of x ay x times ln of x minus x. Tapos na. Remember this one, guys. Remember this one. Next is para kay e raised to x dx. Kay e raised to x, e raised to x pa rin siya. No changes. Yung integral ng e raised to x, e raised to x pa rin siya. No changes. Pero here's the problem. Kita mo to. Ito, yung sa loob ng e. Di ba 4x yan? 4x. So, big sabihin nun, ibang function na yan eh. Kasi, kapag e raised to x, yan na yung yan na yung common na function. Yan na yan. Okay, yan na yan. Okay? Pero kapag e raised to 4x, e raised to x squared, e raised to sin x, iba na yun. Alam mo ba kung anong ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin nun, guys, hindi na yan common function. Composite function na yan. Meaning, there is a function within a function. Kumbaga, if meron tayong function, which is yun yung panglabas mo, then meron pa tayong function sa loob. Okay? Yun yung tinatawag nating composite. And ganun din ito eh. You see this one? Ganun din yan. So what to do? Mamaya i-explain natin yan. Okay? So let's go from this part. This one, sa una, this one is easy. So ito, simplify mo lang, simplify. I-evaluate mo lang yan. So magiging x times ln of x minus x minus, wait lang. I don't want to spoil the fun yet. Okay. Yan na. Yan yung sagot for the first term. Itong si ln of x, ito yung sagot nyo. X times ln of x minus x. Which is ito yun. Okay na. Minus, ano kayang sagot natin dito? Ang sagot natin dito, guys, is 1/4 times e raised to 4x. So, ito yung tanong natin. Paano nakuha si 1/4 times e raised to 4x? Paano kaya ito nakuha? So, dito, okay, I'm going to use different color. So, I think I would just use red. Red. Okay? So, kunin natin to guys Ito. Punta tayo dito. Let's get the integral of e raised to 4x. So, since kasi, di ba composite function to, there is a function within a function. Kumbaga, meron tayong inner function, di ba? Kapag si e raised to x, common to. Pero kapag e raised to 4x, e raised to 4x, composite na to. This is composite. Kasi, sa loob ng input ng e mo, meron ka pang function sa loob. Kasi itong si 4x, this is what? This is an algebraic function. Algebraic function to. So you see, composite na to talaga. So ano gagawin natin? Kapag meron tayong function sa loob ng isang function. So we're going to use tinatawag natin na U substitution. Yung U substitution parang similar lang dito sa third problem. Itong U substitution, quite similar lang. Quite similar. Pero they have different. Okay. So let me write here. We're going to use U sub or U substitution for long. Okay. So dito, ang purpose nito is to basically get the integral for this one easily. Okay? So, dapat, ang mahanap natin, si u at saka si du. Kumbaga, u at saka yung derivative ng u mo. Tapos, sa huli, dapat ang matira lang ay si u at saka si du. Okay? So, di ba composite function ito? Kasi there's a function within a function ng e. So, yung loob, yan yung magiging u mo. Let u be 4x. Okay? Kung ano yung sa loob ng function mo, yan yung magiging u mo. Again, kung ano yung sa loob ng function mo, yun yung magiging u mo. Nakuha? Okay. Tapos next, kunin natin yung derivative ng u mo. So what is the derivative of your u? Siyempre, du. Pero since u is equal to 4x, so ano maging derivative ng 4x? Ang sagot nito ay 4. Okay, 4 ang sagot dito. Okay, remember, the derivative of a term na may x lang, ang sagot nito ay a lang. Kumbaga, constant lang siya. Wala na si x. Okay? Sige. So again, after you get the derivative, don't forget to put dx. Okay? So ngayon, nakuha natin si u at saka si du. Ngayon, ito yung huling objective natin, which is dapat ang matira lamang after mo siyang i-substitute ay u at saka si du lang. Dapat si u at saka si du lang ang matira. Okay? So, paano natin gawin yan? I-convert natin si dx into du. Katulad ginawa natin noong third problem. So, dito, we need to find dx. So, by doing so, let's divide the whole equation by 4. Itong si u at saka, itong si du at saka si 4dx ha. Let's divide the whole equation, which is si du is equal to 4dx by 4. So, ang resulta ay magiging du all over 4 is equal to dx. Or 1/4 times du is equal to dx. Okay? So, paano ko ito nakuha? Ito, si du is equal to 4dx. Divide ko yan both sides by 4. Ito yung resulta. Ito. Then, para dito yung magkalito-lituhan, babaan natin si du, which is ito yan. Okay? So now let's put it in. So ito, integral of e raised to, yung 4x mo, yun yung cu mo. So u is equals to 4x of that. Tapos na. Next, si dx, yun yung si 1/4 times si du. So times 1/4 du. Ayan na. Tapos na tayo. So, 1/4, constant term pa rin to. Again, constant term, it could be rational or irrational. So, ganun na rin kapag fraction din. Kapag fraction, pero mukhang namang number, wala naman siyang katabi na variable na x, constant pa rin siya. Okay? So, ilagay natin to sa labas. So, magiging 1/4 times the integral of e raised to u. So, ano ulit yung huling objective natin? Dapat ang matira ay si u at saka si du. Well, now, look at it. Ang natira ay si u at saka si du. So that means, good job. Ngayon, we can now integrate. Okay, we can now integrate this function. Pwedeng-pwede na. So ano yung integral ng e raised to u? According dito, ang integral ng e raised to x ay e raised to x pa rin. So walang pinagbago. Therefore, this is what? 1/4 times e raised to u. Tapos na. And tapos na sa pagkuha ng integrate ng e raised to u. Pero, ano yung maging final answer natin? Ang final answer natin dito ay 1/4 times e raised to 4x. Balikan mo lang si u. Yung u mo ay 4x. So, ito yung magiging sagot. So, meaning, yes, at this part, we are done integrating it, pero we are not done because di pa natin nakuha yung final answer. So, ang final answer mo rito ay 1/4 times e raised to 4x. Balikan mo lang si u rito. So, yun. So, ito yung magiging solution. Okay? So, ito yung tanong though. What if you use u substitution pero afterwards, ang natira ay mayroong mga x. Hindi lang si u, kundi may x. Therefore, yung u substitution is what? Is not the right method to use that. See? That's the fact na kailangan yung alamin. Because as we proceed to the next exercise, magulat kayo na hindi lang u substitution lang gagamitin natin. No. Mayroon pang mga substitution methods paggamitin. Tulad ng algebraic substitution at saka si trigonometric substitution. So, hindi lahat applicable. Okay? Not everything is applicable, guys. Okay? Dito, applicable siya kasi ang natira ay u at saka si du. Okay? Natira siya. So, therefore, pwedeng-pwede si u substitution. So, ang gawin mo, kung natira na lang si u at saka si du, integrate mo siya. Then, after mo kuha mo yung integral nito, which is ito, ngayon, balikan mo si u. So, na-integral natin to si e raised to u. So, tapos ka na, ngayon, balikan mo si u. Since si u is equal to 4x, therefore, ito na yung maging final na sagot mo. 1/4 times e raised to 4x. Okay? So, that's it. Yun lang naman yung mabigay sa inyo. Alright? Okay. So, let's proceed now to the fifth problem. Ito. Okay? Sorry if medyo long yung pausing ko. Ano lang, may ginawa ko for a moment. Okay? So, dito naman, what would be the integral for this one? Nako, mukhang yatang complicated din. Kasi, look, you have sine, I'll use different color. Yeah. May sine, cosine, cosine, sine. At hindi lang yun, hindi lang yun. Sa loob ng function, meron ka pang inner function. Kumbaga, composite function to eh. Di ba? Kung sin x, cosine x, eto, common lang yan eh. Common na function. Pero kapag sine of x squared, sine of 2x, ganun din, cosine of 4x minus 1, o kaya cosine of 3x, eto, hindi yan common. Anong tawag mo rito sa kanila? Composite function. Okay? Why? Because sa loob ng input ng x mo, kasi itong x na to, this is the input. Input yun. Dito, input, pero hindi si x eh. Rather, it's x squared, 2x, 4x minus 1, 3x. You see? This one, ibig sabihin nun, meron ka pang function sa loob. Okay? Ito, wala. X lang. Ito, meron. X squared, 2x na yan. Nope, that's not common. Ibig sabihin nun, there is a function within a function. Okay, remember this one? Yung sinunod ko kanina, yung f of g of x. Yun. Ganun na rin dito. Okay? Ganun na rin dito sa mga examples. So, so ibig sabihin nun, gagawin natin yung substitution. Mamaya, tingnan natin. Kasi ito, okay, kakasabi ko lang kanina, observe kung complicated o hindi. And kung complicated ba siya, can we at least simplify? The answer for that is yes. We can simplify this problem. So, look at the pattern na. Look at the pattern closely. Very closely. Look at the pattern. You see, ano na to eh, parang, tawag ito? Um, parang one of the examples na to nakuha dun sa, ano, dun sa calculus exercise derivatives. Okay, pero if you don't know, I'm just gonna explain it afterward. So for the trigonometric function, look at this one. Sa unang term, kita mo to. Sine, cosine. Sine, cosine. Alright? Pansin nyo? Sine, cosine. So, dito, sa second term, cosine, sine. Kumbaga, binaliktad lang. Okay? Binaliktad. From sine, cosine, tapos sa susunod, into cosine, sine. Binaliktad lang. Okay? Nauna si sine, tapos sunod cosine. Tapos sa second term, nauna si cosine, tapos ang dulo si sine. Okay. You see that? There is a pattern. Okay? There is. Then next is let's observe the numbers. Numbers tuloy. Yung input sa loob. sorry guys. Yung input sa loob. Look at this one. 2x, 7x. 2x, 7x. You see, hindi sila nagbabago. I mean, in terms of function, oo, pero yung position nila hindi. Dito sa first subterm, nauna si 2x, diba? So, sunod ay 7x. Ngayon, let's go to the second term. Nauna pa rin si 2x, tapos sunod ay 7x. So, meaning, they don't change. You know, I mean, they change in terms of trigonometric function nila, pero yung ano, yung position nila, pare-parehas lang eh. You know, they're just the same. You know that? No changes. So, do you know what reminds me? Okay, do you know what reminds me of this one? This reminds me of the lesson na natutunan ko nung high school. Specifically, trigonometric concept. Okay? So, let A be 2x and let B is equal to 7x. Okay? So, kita nyo to. Susulat ko na lang rito. Sine. Wait lang. Pangit na. Wait lang. Ang pangit ng ano. There you go. So, this is sine A times cosine B plus cosine A times sine B. Ito yung pattern niya eh. Right? This is the pattern. So, this one, I'm sorry. This one, this could be rewritten as sine of A plus B. Ito yung tinatawag natin na sum and difference trigonometric formula. Okay, sum and difference trigonometric formula. Kapag meron kang dalawang sabi nating inputs, ito maging resulta mo. Ay, ito. And kabaliktaran. Kapag ganito yung format ng trigonometric functions mo, ito yung magiging resulta. Okay, ito yun. So therefore, okay, ang mangyayari dyan is i-simplify natin itong problem, okay, itong problem from this to this. Okay? So ibura ko lang itong mga unnecessary writing. Okay? So ang mangyayari dyan, this would be, the integral of sine of 2x plus 7x. Yan na yung maging itsura niya. Okay, na-simplify ko na guys. From this one into this one. Okay? So now, since kasi si 2x at saka si 7x, similar terms sila, we can combine them. So, this would be sine of 9x. Ayan, tapos na. So, okay. Ngayon, we can now think of a rule of integration to find the answer for this one. So, syempre, ang hanapin natin dito is yung integration ng sin x. So, what would be the integration of sin x? The integration of sin x is negative cosine x. Okay. Don't forget this one, okay? Sin x, yung integral niya ay negative cosine x. So, good point. Yeah, good point, no? Okay. Pero, hindi natin directly gagamitin yan. Why? Kasi look, this, ibig sabihin nun, composite function to, hindi to common. So, anong gagawin natin? Gagawin natin yung ginawa natin noong fourth problem, which is U substitution. Okay, we will do U substitution. So, let's proceed dito. Okay? So, ano bang magandang, saan ko po ito pwede isulat? Dito na lang guys ha. Sulat ko na lang dito para may spasyo tayo. So, I will use purple color. So, I will let U be 9x. Kasi ulitin ko ha, kapag meron kang function within a function, ang U mo ay dapat yung nasa loob ng function. Okay? So since meron kang sine function, tapos sa loob niya, meron ka pang isa pang function which is an algebraic function which is 9x, yan yung magiging U mo. Okay? Sa loob niya, yan yung magiging U mo. So next, anong second objective natin? Kunin natin si du or derivative ng U mo. So what is the derivative of 9x? So this is 9. Okay? So again, paano ito nakuha? Basically, the derivative of a term na meron kang a, which is constant, and meron kang x. Okay, meron kang x. So basically, ang sagot mo rito ay a lang. Kumbaga, tanggalin mo lang si x. That's it. Okay, matira na lang is yung a, yung constant. So ang matira ay si 9. And always don't forget to after you get the derivative of 9x or derivative of this one, always put dx. Okay? So yun. And di ba ang huli nating objective ay dapat matira lang si u at saka si du. Therefore, convert natin si dx into du. So, para magawa natin yan, okay, hanapin natin si dx. So by doing so, focus tayo dito sa equation na to. Du is equal to 9x. Du is equals to 9dx. So let's divide this equation by 9. So you will have du over 9 is ito. Wait lang. Okay. So this would be equal to dx. Or this would be 1 over 9 times du. Ayan, tapos na. So, what are we going to do? Let's now substitute. Okay? So, punta tayo dito. So, we have integral of sine of, since yung loob mo, which is in 9x, ay u, therefore, magiging sine of u na lang siya. Okay? Sine of u. Times dx. Ano yung dx mo? Yung dx mo ay 1 over 9 dt. Tapos na. So, what's next? Ilabas natin tong si 1 over 9. Okay? So, matitira ay i-sin u na lang. So, 1/9 times sin u du. So, yun, after that, since nakita natin na si u at saka si du ay natira, therefore, we are good to go. We can now integrate this function na may u. Okay? Kapag may kasamang x or, ibang variable, wala na. Hindi na pwede dyan si u substitution. Okay? Just like what I told you before. Okay? So, in this case, we can now what? Integrate sine u. So 1 over 9 times the integral of sine u. According dito, ang integral ng sine ay negative cosine. Thus, we have negative cosine u. Are we done? Hindi pa tayo tapos. Okay, bakit? Kagaya ng ginawa ko kanina, balikan natin si u. Let's bring back u. Oh, parang literal na you, no? Parang ikaw talaga, no? I'm sorry. Yun. So, let's bring back letter u. So, u is equal to 9x, di ba? Therefore, you will have cosine of 9x plus 3. Ayan. Tapos na tayo. So, that's your final answer. Negative 19 times cosine of 9x. Yan. And we're good to go. Okay. So now let's proceed to the sixth problem. Hala, naku po, sixth problem, very hard. Naku po, kasi tingnan mo, una, meron kang parang rational term dito, rational expression na yung denominator mo may x, tapos may square root of x squared minus 1. Naku, mahirap yan. Ito rin, naku po, may square root of 1 minus x squared. Hala, tapos ano to? What is this? Cosine h of x. What the hell is this? Pero actually guys, simplified na yan. I'm not kidding. That's already simplified. Yeah, simplified na yan. I'm not kidding. I'm not lying. Nor that I am, copying. It is simplified na yan. Okay? So, dito, mapapaisip talaga tayo na, wait a minute. Kung simplified na siya, then what would be the rules of integration na gagamitin natin? Dun. Dito, tingnan mo yung pattern nila sa baba. Para maalam tuloy. Para mahanap nyo kung ano yung mga rules of integration na gagamitin nyo. Ito una, you have x, tapos sunod nun, square root na. So sa loob ng square root, x squared minus 1. Okay. Sunod dito naman, square root, tapos sa loob niya, 1 minus x squared. You see, there is a rule of integration para dito. There is. I'm not kidding. There is talaga. Okay. Nakasimplified na to actually. There is a specific formula for this one. If you recall yung third problem natin, ito, you see this one? Kung marirecall nyo to, alam nyo na kung ano yung formula dito sa pangalawang term. Okay. So, para may knowledge kayo, so what would be the rules na talaga na gagamitin natin? Una, para dito, sa first term, para sa kanya, this is u times square root of u squared minus 1 du. Okay? Or you know what? A squared to, a squared. Yan, a squared. Okay? Para ma-represent natin yung lahat na constant, hindi lang si 1. Okay? Next, dito naman tayo. Okay? Para dito naman, para sa kanya, constant, tapos u. Okay? Yun lang. And para dito naman, I see cosine h of x dx. So ito yung, actually dapat color blue gamit ko rito, pero sorry guys. Ito, parang nagmamadali yata ako. Pero I don't need to erase this one para direct to the point na lang ako, ha? So yun, kapag may nakita kang term na x, or let's just say kahit anong term, basta may kasamang independent variable. Tulad nito, since ang independent variable dito sa problema nito ay x, tapos yun, may makita kang x dito, tapos sunod, may nakasquare na x, tapos may minus sign, tapos meron kang constant. You're going to use this one. Kasi yung, again, yung letter U mo, yun yung may x. Okay? Just like the third problem, okay, yung U mo, okay, yun yung may x. Kahit na meron kang coefficient or katabi ng x, basta may x, yun yung U mo. Okay? Katulad kanina lang. So, let's go back. Dito, okay, if you see this type of pattern, okay, U tapos U squared minus A squared, which is so similar as this one, expect mo, ang sagot mo ay 1 over A times arc second of U over A plus T. Okay. Again, look at the pattern very carefully. Okay, very carefully. Look at the pattern. Dito naman, kapag constant, tapos minus, tapos U, yun yung kanina sa third problem. Kapag constant, tapos minus, tapos U, yung nakasquared na U ha, katulad din sa sixth problem, which is ito, constant, minus, tapos U, which is yung nakasquared, yung X. Basically, ang gagamitin mo ay arc sine of U over A. Which is ito yun. Katulad ng kanina lang yun, guys. Okay? Kanina lang yun. Okay? Next, yung huli is ito. This one, this is what you call as the hyperbolic trigonometric function. Meaning, meron kang trigonometric function, pero the difference is that meron kang h. That means it is a hyperbolic trigonometric function. So, iba to. So, what would be the integral for cosine h of x? So, ang sagot mo rito ay sine of h of x. Ayan. That's it. So, naku, napakahaba yata gagawin natin. Fear not, guys. Again, itong first exercise, lahat ng nakikita nyo dyan, ito, simplified na yan. What more pa kaya if you would see in exercise 2? May iba dyan hindi simplified. I'm not kidding, guys. So, let's go back. Dito tayo. So, na yun, we can rewrite this one as the integral of, ano ulit yung kanina? 3. So, 3 all over x square root of x squared minus 1 dx minus minus the integral of 2 all over square root of 1 minus x squared dx, tapos ito plus the integral of cosine h of x dx. Okay. So, dito na tayo. Ngayon, ilabas natin yung coefficient nilang dalawa. Itong si 3 at saka si 2. Ilabas natin yung lahat. So, this would be 3 times the integral of 1 all over x times square root of x squared minus 1 dx. Minus, ito, tanggalin mo lang si 2 sa baba. So, maging 2 times the integral of 1 all over square root of 1 minus x squared dx. Plus, ayan, dito na tayo. Integral of cosine h of x. Okay na yan. So, na yun, let's go focus the first term para dito naman tayo. Dito, ang goal natin, gamit ng ibang kulay ha. I'm going to use purple, ang goal natin is to convert this one into this one. Okay? I-convert natin from this to this. Okay? Convert natin yan. So, burahin natin yan. So, let's now use substitution. Ayan. So, first, alamin natin muna kayo bahala kung sino mauna, whether it's A or U. Okay? Pero sa akin, unahin ko muna ay si A. Okay? So, according daw dito, si A, yun yung nasa dulo. Okay? According dito sa pattern, kita niyo itong pattern, di ba? Yung A, yung according dito, yun yung sa dulo. Kasi constant. Okay? Yung A, yun yung constant. And kapag ganito yung pattern mo, okay, na kung saan U squared minus A squared sa loob ng square root, yung A mo, yun yung constant mo ay nasa dulo, therefore, automatically, yung A squared mo ay P1. Kasi siya yung nasa dulo. Okay, guys? Gets ba? Nagagets na ba kung bakit? Ulitin ko, guys, ha? Okay? Just to clear our mind, okay? Hanapin ko si A. Okay, so dito, sa first term dito, sabi raw, dapat i-convert natin ito from this to this. Okay, to this one. And as you can see, dito sa first term, you have x squared minus constant, di ba? Or the 1. So u squared minus a squared. So that means, kapag ganito yung pattern niya, ganito yung pattern na susundan mo. So, ibig sabihin nun, since si 1 ay constant and yung a squared mo, yun yung nasa dulo talaga. Therefore, siya si a squared. A squared is equal to 1. Okay, nakukuha ba? Kasi since ito yung format na first term mo, x times square root of x squared minus 1, di ba? Yan yung pattern niya, right? So that means, ito dapat ang susundan mo, which is yung u times square root of u squared minus a squared, di ba? Yun. So, kung ganun, if that's the case, okay, then yung a squared mo, siya yung palaging dulo at saka siya yung constant. And according daw rito, since ito ay same format lang dito, yan yung magiging a mo. Nakuha? Nakuha, guys? Nakuha? Okay, ha? For the last time, ulitin ko. Sorry, kung paulit-ulit ako, baka din yung mag-get. Paano ko nakuha si A? Dahil sa position nila. Since ito, sa first term, ganyan yung format mo, ibig sabihin nun, ito ang susundan mo. 1 over u times u squared minus a squared. Kasi, magkaparehas sila ng denominator. Format ng denominator, kumbaga. Na kung saan si u, yun yung may x. Yung a, yun yung constant. And since yung a, according daw dito, nasa dulo, therefore, yung a squared mo ay P1. Okay na? Okay na. Sige. So na yung kunin natin si A. So by doing so, square root natin to both sides. So magiging A is equal to 1. Ayan. Kasi square root ng 1 is equal to 1. Yun lang naman siya. Next, si U. Naku, madali na to actually. Bakit? Hindi ko alam kung kailangan ko ba ito i-square, pero kasi squared mo na nga lang yan. Si U, madali lang siya. Okay, sabi daw rito, again, kakasabi ko lang, na yung U, yun yung may X. Di ba? So you see, eto, ibig sabihin nun, siya yung CU mo. Gets mo? Since itong si X, tapos sa loob ng square root, meron kang X squared, yung nasa una, ibig sabihin nun, yung U mo is equal to X. Yung U squared mo is equal to X squared. Therefore, you get now the answer. U squared is equals to x squared. Tapos, yung u mo is equal to x. O, di ba? Nakuha? Nakuha, guys? Nakuha? Ganun lang yun. Okay, it's not that easy as it seems kasi parang kinukulitan ko kayo. Okay? Okay na ha? Ganun lang yun. Okay? So that's it. So na yun, last thing we need to do is we need to convert dx. Okay? We need to convert dx into du. I-convert lang natin siya. So, let's erase this one. And let's get, let's get the conversion from dx to du. So, ang gagawin natin is, we're going to get the derivative of yung u mo. So, the derivative of yung u mo is 1. Kasi again, ang derivative ng x ay tanggalin mo lang si x. So, ang natira ay yung coefficient niya na si 1. I already explained that earlier. So, this could be rewritten as du is equal to dx. Okay na. Tapos na tayo rito. Okay? So, we can now do substitution para sa first term. So, 3 times the integral of 1. Tapos, since yung u mo is equal to x, so magiging u. Times the square root of, yung x squared mo ay si u squared. Okay. Minus, yung a squared, yung a squared mo is equal to, 1. So, magiging a squared na lang siya. Ayan, a squared. Okay? And since yung du is equal to dx, that means si dx pwede maging du. And look at that. O, see? Magkaparehas na sila. Ito, magkaparehas silang dalawa. Ito, at saka ito. Okay na. So, how about naman dito? Okay. So, dito, I'm going to set boundaries na. Kasi baka makakuran tayo ng conflict. Ayan. Ayan, conflict. So, dito, since kasi meron kang constant, minus, tapos term na may x naka-squared, ito gagamitin mo. Okay? So, ngayon, hanapin natin si a. Since, according daw rito, sa first term mo raw, itong format ng baba mo is just the same as the format here. Kumbaga, nauna si constant, which is ito. Tapos, sunod ay minus. Tapos, sunod ay naka-squared na independent variable. So, ibig sabihin nun, okay, susundan natin yung pattern nito. So, if yung a squared mo ay una, that means yung a squared mo ay si 1. Okay, therefore, a squared is equal to 1. Ito yun. So, kunin natin si a, square root mo lang to both sides. A is equal to 1. Just square root it both sides. A is equal to 1. Okay? Next, teka lang ha. Ayan. Next, kunin natin si u. Okay? Teka lang, ba't ko binuha? Ba't ko sinulat hindi pa dito? Ayan. Kunin natin si u. Si u naman, yun daw nasa dulo. So, ibig sabihin, according daw rito, again, yung pangalawang term ay magkasimparehas lang sila sa format ng integral formula nito. Okay, ito. So that means, ibig sabihin nun, yung u squared mo, yun yung si x squared. Okay, siya yun. So therefore, yung u squared mo is equal to x squared. And para makuha mo si u, just simply square root both sides. So magiging yan. And we're done. Tapos na tayo. Okay, tapos na tayo. So ngayon, the last step is similar, the same as the first term. I-convert natin si dx by du. So how can we do that? Let's get the derivative of u. So what is the derivative of your u? So syempre, anong derivative ng x? So ang derivative ng x ay 1. Again, explain ko na to kanina na ang derivative ng isang term na may constant at saka isang independent variable which is si x tapos wala siyang exponent except si 1, therefore tanggalin mo na si x. Ang matira lang ay yung constant lang. Ito, yung constant ng x which is si 1, therefore matira lang ay si 1. Okay? Then yun, we can rewrite this as dx. So, ano nang gagawin natin? We can now simply substitute. So this is minus 2 times the integral of 1 over the square root of, yung a squared mo, si 1. So magiging a squared. Minus the x squared, yun yung si u squared mo. So yun, magiging u squared siya. Tapos since si dx is equal to du, then magiging du. And ito, magkaparehas na sila ng solve na, okay? That's good. Alright, tapos na. So now, the next thing na gagawin natin is i-copy na lang natin si cosine. Yan. Ayan na siya. Cosine h of x. So anong gagawin natin? We can now simply evaluate ang tawag nito? Yung mga i-integrate natin. Yan. Evaluate natin yung mga natitirang functions. So let's evaluate this one. So 3 times, anong integral nito? 1 over u times square root of u squared minus a squared, which is, ito yun. Okay, ito yun. So this is 1 over a times arc secant of u over a minus 2 times ito. Anong integral ng 1 over square root of a squared minus u squared? So this is arc sine of u over a. So yan. And last but not the least, cosine h of x. So, ito yun. Integral ng cosine h of x is ito. Siya lang yung mas madali eh. Ano ba yan, David? Why should we go to the harder ones? Kaysa naman punta ka sa mga mamadadali, di ba? And don't forget to put plus c after you integrate everything. So, are we done? No, hindi pa tayo tapos. Ang gagawin natin is mag-substitute pa tayo. Kumbaga, balikan natin si u at saka si a. Okay guys wag kayong magulo. Kaya ako naglagay ako ng different colors at saka boundaries. Kasi itong naka-purple, yun yung for the first term. Yung naka-red, yung para sa second term, na si arc sine. Kasi, kasi kapag malilito kayo kung ano yung gagamitin yung u, baka kasi yung u mo ay gagamitin mo yung u dun sa second term. Baka yung a dito sa second term ay gagamitin mo yung a sa first term. So, ano na yun, conflicting na yun, di ba? It's conflicting and magulo. That is why I use different set of color pens. Unless magkapares na naman natin ng value, so why not? Okay? Pero again, it's better to be very careful. Or, para mas hindi kayo mahirapan, instead of using u, kasi di ba ginamit ko u, okay? Why not use different letters instead? Ang mahalaga nun magkapares lang kayo ng format dito. That's already good enough. Okay? That's already good. Basta ang mahalaga is that yung A, yun yung constant. Yung U, yun yung may X or yung may independent variable. So you can change U into different. Maybe you can use letter V or W or so on and so forth. Kayo bahala. Or kung gusto nyo lang si letter U at saka si letter A lang, then I recommend using different set of colors para hindi kayo malilito. Katulad nito, the purple color is for the first term. The red color is for the second term. Okay? And I drew a boundary. Okay? Nag-draw ako ng boundary para hindi kayo malilito. Okay? I substitute na. So 3 times 1 over A. Ano yung A dito? Yung nasa purple. Yun yung si 1. Okay? Times arc second of U mo is si X. Yung A mo raw ay si 1. Minus ito 2 times arc sine of dito U over A. So yung U mo raw dito is si X. Yung A mo raw rito ay si 1. So plus sine H of X. So let's further simplify para makuha natin yung final na sagot. So this is 3 times arc second of X minus 2 times arc sine of X plus sine H of X plus. Ang liit ng C ko guys capital C to guys ano lang, tinamad na yata ako bigla no? Hala ka ta. Okay. And now let's go to the last problem for the first round. Wow, first round talaga. Okay. After this one, let's give ourselves a rest. Okay, kasi pa lang the way how I explain, naku, tayo to, parang haba. Para mas gets nyo pa lalo. Okay? That is why nga, kung pwede nga, kung magpa-live tayo sa YouTube at mag-comment kayo doon, no problem. Pero yun nga, for the sake of others, gawin ko na to parang, a live lecture. Okay? So, how about this one? Ito, naku po, mahirap. Kasi tingnan mo naman, cosine h squared, may sine h squared, tapos may tangent hx, di ba? So, ayun na naman tayo. Pero, you see, mukhang namang yata siyang simplified. Pero do you think pwede pa yata itong simplified? Do you think? Oo, may squared siya. So, can we use some identities dito? The answer is yes. Pwedeng pwede. Okay, pwedeng pwede. So, we're going to use the Pythagorean identities of hyperbolic trigonometry. Okay? Wait lang. Pythagorean hyperbolic trigonometric identity. Okay? So, cosine h squared x minus sine h squared x is equal to 1. Yan. Tapos na. Yan lang pwede kong gamitin dito. Why? Kasi ito, pwede ko naman itong, i-transfer to dito para magmumuka silang ganyan. Cosine h squared minus sine h squared. Pwedeng pwede. Try natin ha. Okay, this one, the integral of, okay, ilagay natin si cosine h squared of x dito. So magiging cosine h squared of x naging underscore, hindi na minus. Sorry. So minus sine h squared of x plus tangent h of x. Ayan. So according dito, cosine h squared x minus sine h squared of x is equal to 1 daw. Therefore, this is 1 minus tangent h of x. O, di ba? Easy. Mas madali pa to kaysa sinasolve natin kanina. So na yun, what are now the rules of integration to be used just to get the answer for this one? O, ito na yung mga rules na gagamitin natin. Okay? So una is para sa constant term, para kay 1. So this one, just simply what? Add x next to it. Parang sa ano lang yun sa first problem Ito. Ito. Kapag may constant term, yan gamitin mo. Okay, ito yun. Okay? Next naman is yung kay tangent. So tangent h of x sa kanya ay ln of cosine h of x. Ayan. Yan ang gagamitin natin dyan. Tangent h of x is equal to ln of cosine h of x. Yan. So we can simply evaluate this integral. So ito, wait lang integral of 1 minus integral of tangent h of x. Yan. That's it. So ito, magiging ano to? 'Di ba since constant term niya is si 1. So magiging 1x or just simply x. Okay? 1x or x. Okay? Dito, ito na siya. Ln of cosine. Wait lang guys. Plus pala to guys plus. Hala, bakit ko minus? Sorry guys Plus to plus. Okay, plus lang to I'm sorry guys. Plus to Again. Hello guys. Nawala lang talaga ako dahil may pinagawa sa akin ng nanay ko. Sorry. Okay, let's go back. Again, sorry hindi to minus plus tangent h of x to. Plus to plus. Plus. Okay, plus to Okay? I misinterpreted. So, plus to. X plus integral ng tangent h of x ay ln of cosine h of x. Okay? Plus c. Ayan. So yun, we're done. So please give yourself a rest for 20 to 30 minutes. Ha? Yes, kasi mahaba explanation ko kaya baka di nyo mag-get. Okay, sorry. Ano lang kasi, if ever I made one mistake or magulo, i-sum it up ko pa. Tapos kapag di nyo pa rin gets, i-sum it up ko pa. Para mas get nyo. Okay? Before I let you rest, please subscribe to Kuya Mo Felix at saka si UJ Abad. Okay? These two are one of the professors in my college. Si Kuya Mo Felix is my professor in Calculus 2, aka Integral Calculus. So, no wonder why na yun nga, ako rin nag-upload ako ng mga pang-calculus na rin. And yun nga, I use one of the techniques and mga learnings binigay sa amin ng prof ko. Okay? So please subscribe to him kasi nag-upload na rin siya ng mga usapang integration. Especially din kay UJ Abad. UJ Abad, he was my former professor sa Engineering Mathematics 1 nung first term. So this YouTuber, marami siyang mga math content. Okay? He's a vlogger at the same time, math educator. Okay? So hindi lang mga integration but also a lot of steps. Okay, sorry na. Pa-pause ako bigla kasi dumaan yung nanay ko. So, going back, yeah. CUJ Abad, he has a lot of math content. So, please subscribe to him. Okay, take a rest. So, pause this video and rest for 20 to 30 minutes. Okay? Alright, I'm back guys. So, I hope you rested well enough. So, let's answer 7 more problems. Let's go to the 8th problem. Allah. Teka lang guys. If you're wondering bakit may sulat ako, yung mga, may mga writing. Kasi yesterday, I was planning to, upload this one as early as possible. So I did, but actually hindi did it. It's tried. I tried. So, yun, wala kasi on time nun. And nakala ko matapos ko itong lahat yung mga problem. So I decided to continue it within this day na lang. So, yeah. Long story short, in the previous days, I was basically I was basically recording this video. Kumbaga yung ginagawa ko, nag-lecture ako. Pero hindi natapos. So, yeah. Yun lang. Hi guys, so let's go back here. Dito, you see, you have a binomial and a binomial as well. Binomial naman sila. Pero, here's the thing. If I could rewrite this one, which is like x squared plus 3, times 2x cubed plus 18x raised to 1. So, dito, as you can see, naka-exponent to ng fraction. So, paano mo kaya to i-expand yan? Kasi you see, by expanding this binomial, dapat nga you will do full method, di ba? Tulad nito, x plus 5 squared. So ito, pag i-expand mo to, magiging magiging x squared plus 10x tama, plus 25. Yun. Dapat ganito ang kalabasan. Okay? Hindi naka-factored, rather naka-expand. Kaya dito, kung ma-simplify mo to in a way na na-expand na siya, doon mo na siya i-integrate isa-isa. Okay? Pero there are times na sabihin natin ganito, yung given, okay? So sabihin natin na x plus 5 raised to 4 times x plus 1. There are times na may ganitong exponent na mahaba. So yung sabihin nun, i-expand mo siya, ay napakahaba naman nun, di ba? Oo. Not to mention, may isa ka pang binomial na ipagsama mo siya sa pag-expand. So, it takes a lot of time. Don't get me wrong. Mahirap talaga. Okay? What more pa kaya kapag ito ay greater than 4? Pwede ring x plus 5 raised to 10. Di ba? And, much worse, what if yung exponent niya hindi talaga whole number na actually, ano bang tama? Yeah, hindi talaga whole number eh. Rather, it's fractional tulad nito. 3 halves. O parang yan, 1 half. So, anong gagawin mo, di ba? So, this one is very frustrating. Pag naka-exponent to ng naka-halves, di mo siya i-expand eh. Unless i-simplify mo siya, sige. Pero, hanggang dyan lang siya. So, anong gagawin mo? Di ba? So, dito, gagamit tayo ng U substitution. Okay? So, kanina, we know that yung U substitution, ginagamit natin yan kapag di ba? Kapag mga, kapag may mga composite functions. Tulad nito, fifth problem yata, yun. Ito, yung integral sine of 9x. Ito rin, itong sa fourth problem, itong si e raised to 4x. Ito, di ba? Yung mga naka-composite functions. Okay. I think yun lang naman, no? Yun, yung mga naka-composite na functions, yun yung usually ginagamit ng U substitution. Right? So, in here, ay sorry, na-open pa yung camera ko. Sorry. So in here, as you can see, we can use substitution. Pero, ang i-substitute natin ng u ay ito. Ito. Okay? Yan ang i-substitute natin ng u. So, kumbaga, if there is, let's just say, more than two binomials, okay, or trinomial, kung ano man, whatsoever, or polynomials na lang, mas maganda, just to generalize the function given here. So, yun. Tapos, may isa sa kanila, may napakalaking value na exponent, or yung exponent niya ay parang naka-half, parang ito, 1/2. Kumbaga naka-root. So, dito, ang mangyayari dyan, kung ano yung loob ng isang polynomial na may napakamalaking value na exponent or naka-root or naka-fraction ang exponent, yun yung magiging u mo. Therefore, let u be 2x cubed plus 18x. Okay? So, same rule pa rin tayo guys. Ang rule natin is dapat matira lang si u at saka si du. That's it. Okay? So, we found our u. So, next, we get du. So, pag du, derivative ng u. So, this one is what? This would be 6x squared plus 18. Okay? Yan yun. Alright? So, if you're asking me, paano to nakuha yung derivative ng 2x cubed? Yun yung power rule of derivatives. Okay? Mali. Power rule of differentiation. Much better. Okay? Power rule of differentiation. Kumbaga, okay, kapag meron kang variable tapos may exponent, this basically means na ibaba mo yung exponent tapos kopyahin mo si x. Then kung ano yung exponent na binaba mo, i-subtract mo ng 1. Okay? So, dito, yun to, 2x cubed, right? 2x cubed. Basically, this one, constant rule of differentiation pa rin, ha? Parang the same as integration rule sa constant, na kumbaga, what if meron kang coefficient or constant, tapos ang katabi mo ay function. The same thing, ilabas mo lang yung constant, tapos ang focus mo lang is yung katabi niya. So basically, this is 2 times, ibaba mo si 3, x, kopyahin mo. Tapos kung ano yung binaba mo ng exponent, i-subtract mo ng 1. So this is 3 minus 1. So this would be 6 times, 6 times x squared. So ganun lang yun. So yung 18x, naging 18, which is, na-explain ko na sa inyo million times. Exaggeration ko lang yung sorry. Na-explain ko na to sa inyo yung constant, tapos may kasamang x. Yung exponent niya ay 1, so tanggalin mo na si x. Ang matira lang is yung coefficient o yung constant mismo. Ayan. So, that's it. We found our u and du. So, the next thing is, hanapin natin yung yung dx. Para matira lang sa given na expression natin ay u at saka si du lang. Okay? So, let's divide this whole equation by 6x squared plus 18. So, this would be 1 all over 6x squared plus 18 du is equal to dx. Ayan. So, that's it. So, now, we can now substitute. So, ito, matitira lang siya. So, this is x squared plus 3 times u raised to 1/2. Kasi yung u mo is equal to 2x cubed plus 18x. So, yun yung maging u mo. Pero yung hindi yung exponent. Tapos yung dx mo, yun yung 1 over 6x squared plus 18 du. So, here's the question. Pwede pa rin ba itong i-simplify? or meaning hindi pwede si U substitution dito? The answer for that is, pwede pa siyang i-simplify. Some of you may think, di na kaya yan. Kasi meron ng x squared, dapat lang matira si U at saka si DU, di ba? Well, good point. Okay, pero pwede pa siyang i-simplify. Pwede. Okay. So, copyahin ko lang to ha. So, this is x squared. Kaya lang ha. X squared plus 3 times U raised to 1/2 times 1 all over. Itong si 6x squared plus 18, pwede ko siyang i-factor out. I-factor ko tong binomial na to by 6. Meaning, let's bring out 6. So, anong matira? Ang matira ay 6 times x squared plus 3. Ayan. See, yan na yung natira. So, you see, meron tayong x squared plus 3 at x squared plus 3. So, we can further cancel out. And ang natira na lang dito ay u raised to 1/2 times 1 over 6 times d. And since yung 1 over 6 constant siya, so ilabas natin siya. So magiging 1 over 6 times the integral of u raised to 1/2 tapos d. Ay. That's it. So yun. So you see, natira na lang du at saka si du. That's a good point. Very good na. So na yun, we can now further what? Integrate itong si u raised to 1/2. So we're going to use power rule of integration. Okay, power rule. Okay, so this is the integral of x raised to n dx. N to guys n to guys So this is x raised to n plus 1 all over n plus 1. Yan ang gagamitin natin dito. So yun, we're going to have this one. So we will have 1 over 6 times, ito would be u raised to 1/2 plus 1 all over 1/2 plus 1. By the way, sorry guys kung medyo may yung background ko. Naglalaba kasi nanay ko. Sorry. Okay? So yun, that's it. And since siya lang na-integrate natin, so don't forget to put plus. So now let's further simplify. So ito, magiging u raised to 3/2 all over 3/2. So paano to nakuha? It's like, paano ko ba to explain? Okay, you know what? I'll just, say it to you directly. 1/2 plus 1, di ba? Una, yung denominator mo, wait lang ha. Hindi. Yung denominator mo, i-multiply mo siya dito. Okay, multiply mo siya dito. Tapos after ng pag-multiply mo, i-add mo na siya dito. Get? Okay Basically, kung ano yung denominator mo rito, i-multiply mo siya dito. Tapos after pag-multiply mo rito, i-add mo siya dito. So let's give it a try. So this basically 2 times 1. 2 times 1. Diba 2? Okay, 2 plus 1. 3. So yun, 3 all over yung denominator mo, 2. That's it. Yun lang guys. Okay? That's it. So burahin ko lang to. Ayan. So yun, after that, we can now simplify this one again. Kasi ito, hindi to simplified na fraction eh. Rather, this is what? A complicated one. So ito, pabilisan, this is 1/6 times 2/3 times u raised to 3/2. So paano to nakuha? So basically, it's what you call reciprocating. Ay, reciprocating. Ganito yun. Okay, it's like this one. Kunwari A over B all over C over D. Ay, dito guys, sa this letter D. So basically, ang tsura nito ay A over B times D over C. Kumbaga, itong si D mapupunta sa taas, si C mapupunta sa baba. A over B times D over C. Okay. So how about naman kapag whole term lang? A over B over C. What if whole term lang si A? Okay, wala siyang fraction, whole term lang. Ganun din yung ginawa natin dito. Yan din gagawin natin dito. Itaas natin dito si C at ibaba natin si B. So this is A times C over B. Okay? So, okay, this U is to 3 halves all over 3 halves. So this means this means U U raised to 3 halves times balik na rin si 2 at 3, you will have 2/3. So this is 2 times U raised to 3 halves all over 3. So that's it, which is basically ito. Yan lang siya, guys. Okay? Ganun lang yun. So, burahin ko lang to, guys. So, sorry. So, output plus T. Nakalimutan ko. So, let's simplify. Ito, si 6 at saka si 2, pwede ko pa yan i-simplify. Because both 6 and 2 are divisible by 2. So, si 6, magiging 3 siya. Kasi 6 divided by 2 ay 3. Next, si 2. So, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So, as a result, meron ka ng 1, 3 times 1, 3 tapos U raised to 3 half. Ayan. So, dito, if you're going to multiply two fractions, so, padiretso-diretso na sila. Okay? So, as a result, you will have 1 over 9 times U raised to 3 halves. So, are we done? Hindi pa tayo tapos. We're not done yet. Alright? Bakit? Kasi kailangan nating balikan si U. We need to bring back U. Okay? So, si U, which is C, 2x cubed plus 18x. So, therefore, 1 over 9 times 2x cubed plus 18x raised to 3 half. And tapos na tayo. Tingnan mo, from very long given to very short answer. Di ba? So basically, kung mapapansin nyo, we can use U substitution. So dito, we use U substitution kapag meron tayong dalawang functions. This one, algebraic functions in particular, isa sa kanila may malaking exponent na value or meron siyang exponent na parang pa-fractional katulad nito, 1 half. Okay? So that's it. Next, the ninth problem. Dito naman sa ninth problem, this one is easy. Very easy. Why? Ito, one method lang gagamitin natin dyan. At kung ano yun? U substitution. Why? Kasi ito is just the same way on how we get the integral of, of ito, is sine of 9x. Oo. Especially sa fourth problem, yung kay e raised to 4x. Diba? So yun. Ay, bataw na punta sa atin. Ayun, na-expose mo na, pero okay lang. So ito, we can do that. Actually, we can do that. Alright? Kasi ito, si ln of x, common lang yun eh. Common function. Pero kapag, again, mayroong function sa loob na ln of 4x, ln of 4e raised to x, or sabihin natin na ln of x squared, yung mga ganon. Okay. This is basically ID comp. Okay? So, in this case, ano gagawin natin? So, dito, okay? So, before that, what are the rules of integration or formula na gagamitin natin sa paghanap ng sagot dito? So, this one, we're going to use si ln of x dx. Okay? So, ito, para sa kanya, x times ln of x minus x plus t. Ayan. Then next, design naman, which is ito yun, in negative cosine x plus t. Okay? So dito, as you can see, is easy. Para sa akin, it's actually easy. Okay? So this one, we can now just further evaluate na lang to. Further evaluation is ln of 2x plus 3 dx minus the integral of sine of 4x dx. So dito, wait lang. So dito, let's start with the first term, si ln of 2x plus 3. So dito, let's start with this one. So let u be 2x plus 3. Okay? Let u be 2x plus 3. Okay na? So, again, I use u substitution kasi one function, tapos sa loob nun, meron ka pa isang function. Okay? So, yun. So, next, I see du. Ano yung derivative nito? Ang derivative nito is 2 plus 0, which is 2 dx, in other words. 2 dx. Okay? So, again, paano ito nakuha, itong derivative ng 2x? Just simply remove the x. Matira lang is yung constant. I already explained this a lot. Okay? Then ito naman si 3, constant lang siya. So, ang derivative ng constant ay 0. So, this is 0 na. Alright? So, okay na tayo. So, ngayon, ang next thing ang gagawin natin is hanapin natin yung value ng dx or what is dx para ang matira ay si u at saka si du lang. So, let's divide the whole equation by 2. So, magiging 1/2 times du is equal to dx. So, ano na resulta nun? So, ang resulta nun, this is what? This is ln of u times si dx. Dx, okay, which is the 1/2 du. Okay, 1/2 du. Alright? So, again ha, du nagiging si 2x plus 3 to. Okay, if you guys don't get kung bakit naging u2 out of the blue. Naging u2 kasi yung u mo ay equal to 2x plus 3. Okay? Okay na. Well, the next thing is for this one naman tayo. Okay? Dito naman tayo. This one. So, can we use u substitution? Yes. Definitely. Oo. So, ito kasi, remember kanina, yung sinabi kong, saan ba yun? Sa 6th problem. ito yung ginagawa ko, yung I'm using different colors pero the same letter. 'Di ba dito U at saka si A. Well, dito ganun din. Okay. Si U ang gagamitin ko rito. Pero kung kayo'y nahihirapan, I suggest huwag niyo gamitin si U. Rather use different letters. Pwede ring si V, pwede ring Z or W. Okay? Kumbaga, hindi na to U substitution, kundi V substitution or W substitution. Kayo nang bahala ron. It's okay. Okay? So, to give you an idea, instead of using letter U, ang gagamitin ko na lang ay si V. Okay? Si V na lang. Okay? V. Okay na guys? So, if U is equals to 2x plus 3, so, meaning dapat meron kang du. So, ganun din dito. Okay? If meron kang v, dapat meron kang dv. And ang matira ay si v at saka si dv. Okay? So, it's up to you. Again, you can use u or du. Pero basta kapag u, du, okay, use different set of colors. Or gumawa kayo ng boundary. Ito para sa first term, ito sa kanan para sa second term, which is para kay sine. Okay? Okay yun. Or, mas maganda, para may creativity kayo, you can use different letters. Yung U para kay first term, yung V para kay second term. Okay? So, let's do this one. Yung V ko, yun yung log before. Ngayon, kunin natin yung derivative ng V ko. Anong derivative ng V ko? 4 yung derivative ng 4x. Okay? So, anong derivative ng V ko is 4. Okay? It's like, paano ko to nakuha ng derivative is the same way how I get the derivative of 4x. Tanggalin mo lang si x, ang matira ay si constant. Okay? I already explained this kanina. Alright? A while ago. So, yun. After that, yun nga, dito, dapat ang matira ay si v at saka si dv. So, let's find the dx. So, let's divide the whole equation by 4. So, matitira rito ay 4 times dv is equal to dx. Ayan. So, now let's rewrite it here. So, this minus integral of sine, yung v mo is equals to 4x. Therefore, this is sine v. Tapos, yung dx mo ay times 1/4 dv. So, the next thing ang gagawin ko bago mag-integrate is ilabas ko yung constant. Okay, ito si 1/2 at saka si 1/4. So, ito ay magiging 1/2 times the integral of ln of u du minus ito rin 1/4 times the integral of sine v dv. Ayan na, sine v. So, na yun, we can now get the integral for this one. So, anong integral ng ln of u? Ito yun. So, this is 1/2 times, times, ito, u times ln of u minus u minus ito naman 1/4, okay, times derivative, yung integration ng integrate. Yung integral ng sine ay negative cosine. So cosine v plus v. So tapos na ba tayo? Nope, we're not done. Ang gagawin natin is balikan natin si u at saka si v. Ano yung u natin? Yung u natin ay 2x plus 3. Okay? So this is 1/2 times, yung u mo ay si 2x plus 3. So this is 2x plus 3 times ln of 2x plus 3 minus 2x plus 3. Ayan. So dito, lagay ko na ito sa baba guys. So minus 1/4 times negative cosine of 4x plus c. So therefore, ano na maging sagot natin dito? So this is 1/2 times 2x plus 3 times ln of 2x plus 3 minus 2x plus 3. Wait lang guys, medyo pumangit yung sulat ko rito. Ayan, wait lang. Tapos minus tuloy. Hindi na to minus, plus na kasi negative times negative is positive. So magiging plus. So this would be plus 1/4 times cosine of 4x plus 3. Yan yung magiging sagot mo. There are others who simplify this one. Kayo guys, it's up to you. You can simplify this one. It's okay. There's no problem para sa akin. Wala tong problema. If gusto mo tong i-simplify. There are other ways on how would you answer this one. Ito yung first way ha. This is the first way. And there's another way na pwede mong gawin. Okay, there's another way. So what would that be? Okay. So, wait lang, sorry. So, there's another way. Okay, you can simplify this one. Ito, silon. Pwede mo siyang i-simplify. Actually, wait lang. Pwede ba? Simplify ln of 2x plus 3, ha? Pwede ba yun? Teka lang isipin ko. Hindi. Sorry. Hindi naman pala. Sorry guys, mali. Kala ko meron eh. sorry. Kala ko meron. But yeah, forget what I just said. That's so very cringy of me to say, but yeah. Ito na yung sagot guys. Medyo mahaba but worth it to try. Okay? So now let's go to the 10th problem. This one on the other hand, meron na tayong mga upper limit and lower limit. So what is upper and lower limits? So take a look at this point. Di ba, we know that ito yung parang general formula ng integral, di ba? Ganyan. Tapos pag kinuha mo yung integral, let this one be the answer. Itong si capital F of x plus c. Itong f of x, itong capital F, ano lang to yun yung na-integrate mo na Yung na-integrate mo na. Ulitin ko itong f of x, representation or symbol ng na-integrate mo ng function dito Okay? So ito, ang tawag mo dyan, this is indefinite. Okay, this is indefinite. Okay, definite integral. Pero, what if meron tayong, upper and lower limits? So, paano to? So, ang resulta nito is like this one. Okay, kunin mo yung integral ng function mo, which is yung f of x, capital F of x Then, parang meron kang line dito na may paganon. B, A. Ito, again, this is your upper limit. Okay. Tapos ito yung lower limit. Okay. So, ano kayo mangyayari kapag may ganyan tayong formula? Itong f of x, tapos may line, tapos may b, tapos may a sa baba. Ibig sabihin nun, ito magiging resulta. Okay? Ganyan siya. By the way guys, sorry kung medyo maingay yung background ko. Again, naglalaba kasi nanay ko. Sorry. Ayan. So ito yun guys F, capital F of B minus capital F of A. So this one, dapat ito mahanap natin. So ibig sabihin nun, after mo to integrate, mag-substitute ka ng value dito. So this one, background information, this is basically according sa fundamental theorem of calculus 2. Okay. So itong may ganitong tong formula na 'to, okay, tawag nito, kapag may makita kayong may limit, itong si B at saka si A, okay, ang tawag mo na diyan ay definite, okay? Definite integral. Ayan siya, okay, definite. Basta 'pag indefinite meaning walang limits, walang A, si B. Pero kapag merong BA, yung basta yung limit, yun, definite integral ang tawag dito. Okay, guys? So, we are going to follow this one. Okay, ito gagawin natin. Sige burahin natin to. Wait. Burahin natin to, guys, ha? Okay. So, let's go with this one. So, first, let's get the integral for this function. Ito, napakadali lang. Alam nyo na to, guys, super. Okay? So, anong gagamitin nating rules of integration dito? Siyempre, ang gagamitin natin, teka lang medyo naglalag. Siyempre, ang gagamitin natin dito, yung yung power rule of integration, which is ito yon. Okay, so resulta nito ay x raised to n plus 1 all over n plus 1 plus t, at saka yung constant rule of integration. So this is ax plus t. Okay? Don't forget this one, ha? Okay. So ngayon, i-integrate natin sila isa't isa. Okay? So let's integrate the first term, si 2x cubed. So ano ang integral ng 2x cubed? So basically, by getting the integral of 2x cubed, ito yung magiging resulta mo. So this would be 2, okay, times x raised to 3 plus 1 all over 3 plus 1. Okay na. Next, si negative 3x. Si negative 3x, ito naman. Negative 3 times x raised to 1 plus 1 all over 1 plus 1. Okay? Then last but not the least, si 10. Si 10 naman, isa siyang constant term. So therefore, gagamitin natin to. So this would be 10x. So, ngayon, na-integrate natin to lahat. So, ilalagay natin dito ng isang line. This line represents yung kumbaga yung limit ng definite integral mo. So dito si 3 and dito si 1. Okay? So i-simplify natin muna. So you will have 2 times x raised to 4 all over 4 minus 3 times x squared over 2 plus 10x. Yan. So this is 3, 1. So what would be now the simplified nito? Simplified na na function dito pag na-integrate mo. So this is, ito, ma-cancel out to, kasi 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So magiging, magiging x raised to 4 all over 2 minus 3x squared over 2 plus 10x. Wait lang ha. Ayan. So that's it. And since itong si x raised to 4 at saka si 3x squared, magkapare sila ng denominator si 2, kita mo, si 2 at saka si 2, kita mo yan? We can further combine them actually. So this would be x raised to 4 minus 3x squared all over 2 plus 10x. Ayan, okay na yan. Diba? So if you're asking me, paano to na-combine itong dalawa? This is what you call similar fractions. If we have two or more fractions, tapos lahat sila ay magkapare sa denominator, well, you're going to, combine them. So, if you're going to combine them, ito na yung itsura mo. Ayan na. So, can we still simplify this one? Well, pwede. Pwede rin. So, basically, ilabas mo lang si X, yung mga X sa labas. Pwede. Pwede actually. Okay, ilabas mo lang si X. So, this would be X times X cubed minus 3X all over 2 plus 10. Ayan. So, kayo nang bahala kung paano nyo ito i-simplify. Kasi ako, pala simplify ako. Imbes na mag-calculate na lang, no, di ba? So, na yun, ang gagawin natin is, we're going to get f of, yan. Get of f of b at saka si f of a. Okay, yan ang kukunin natin. Again, ito si b, ito si a. Yan si upper, yan si lower limit. Okay? Actually, guys, kayo bahala kung gusto niyo i-simplify. Ako gusto ko kasi if simplified, no rush. Okay? Basta kapag simplified, tapos na. Di ba? So, let's start first with, yun nga, f of b minus f of a. So, big sabihin nun, this is f of 3 minus f of 1. Okay? Kaya lang ha. Yan. So, with this, okay, ang gagawin natin para sa f of 3, capital F of 3, ito, i-substitute natin si 3 dito. So, this would be 3 times, okay, 3 raised to 3, tama, minus 3 times 3 all over 2 plus 10. Okay na siya. Ngayon, minus, ito naman para kay f of 1. So, the same thing, okay, gagawin natin to is i-substitute natin si 1 dito. So, magiging 1 times 1 raised to 3 minus 3 times 1 over 2 plus 10. Ayan. So, ano nang resulta nito? So, this is 3 times, ito, 3 cubed is 27 minus 9 all over 2 plus 10. So, ito rin. So, this would be 1 times ito, 1 minus 3 over 2 plus 10. So, what would be the answer dito? So, 27 minus 9, this is actually 18. 18. Yeah, tama ako, 18. So, 18 over 2 plus 10 minus 1 times ito, 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Okay, so plus 10. Teka lang. Ayan. So this one would be 3 times 18 over 2 is 9 plus 10 minus 1 times negative 1 plus 10. Okay, kasi negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. So na yun, let's further simplify. So 3 times 19 minus 1 times 9. So ano na maging resulta dito? So 3 times 19 is 57. Minus 1 times 9 is 9. Therefore, ang sagot mo dapat ay 48. So if you're type of guy na mag-simplify ka, sige, mag-simplify ka lang. Do you know why? Kasi if you don't, mahihirapan ka lalo. You're going to use calculator na lang instead. Okay, just use calculator na lang. No rush. Just use calculator. I-input mo na yun. Easy. Well, okay. But if you want more challenge, then I challenge you, i-simplify mo yan lahat. Gumamit ka na ng calculator kapag lahat yan ay nakasimplified na. Just like what I did here. Okay? So yes, the answer here is 48. Next, the 11. This one, on the other hand, wala, medyo ano to, challenging. But fear not, to be honest dito, you can use calculator na. Pwede na. Okay, pero again it's up to you. If you want to simplify like this, sure. Who am I to judge you? Sige lang, di ba? So, ito gagawin natin. Simple, again, integrate natin sila isa't isa. So, let's start first with tangent. Ano ulit yung integral ng tangent natin? The integral of tangent is equal to what? Either negative ln of cosine x plus c or ln of secant x plus c. Okay. Next, paano naman si cotangent x? Si cotangent, para sa kanya, ln of sin x. Ayan lang sa kanya. Wait lang That's it. So yun. So now, we can further integrate na this problem. Okay. I'm not quite sure kapag may spatio tayo, pero dito na lang tayo, para good tayo. So dito, anong integral ng 30 times tangent x? Ang integral ng 30 times tangent x ay 30 times ito. Okay? For me, pipiliin ko to. Pero kayo bahala. Pero since kasi dati I use ln of secant x, ito na lang. Okay. So 30 times negative ln of cosine x. Okay? That's it. Okay. Minus 40 times anong integral ng cotangent x? Okay. Integral ng 40 cotangent x ay 40 times ln of sine x. That's it. And don't forget this line. This line represents yung mga limits. So according dito, yung upper limit mo ay pi over 3. Tsaka ito naman, limit mo rito ay pi over 6. So again, this is the upper, which is ito si letter B. Ito naman ay lower. Lower, which is ito yung letter A. Okay? So now, wait lang Ayan. Sige. Sulat na ako. So now, we're going to what? Get this one. Capital F of B minus capital F of A. Ayan. So ito, si B mo, this is what? Pi over 3. Right? Si A mo naman, this is pi over 6. So this would be what? So this is negative 30 times ln of cosine of pi over 3. Okay? Minus 40 times ln of sine of pi over 3. Ayan. Ito ay para sa Para sa f of pi over 3. Next, paano naman kaya kapag sa a? So mahaba to. Ay, sorry. Ito. Sorry guys, sorry guys. Um, Ayan. Okay na? Sige, sige. Sorry guys, naurong ko eh. Okay, sige, game. So, dito, sorry guys, mainit talaga. Alright, so, next is for this one. So, this is, ilagay nito sa baba, minus, parenthesis, negative 30, ln of, cosine of pi over 6. Yan. Minus 40 times uh, ln of sine of pi over 6. Ayan. Actually, gamitin na itong bracket. Array. Wait lang. Ayan. Ayan. Sige. Ito. Ayan. Okay na to. Kung gusto nyo ito i-simplify, no problem naman sa akin. Okay? So let's simplify this one. So this is basically negative 30 times ln of cosine of pi over 3. Okay? Minus 40 times ln of nakalagay rito, ln of sine of pi over 3. Ay, nakalagay rito. Minus, hindi na to minus kasi ito, may negative na sila, so positive. So plus 30 times ln of cosine of pi over 6. Tapos plus 40 times ln of sine of pi over 6. Ayan. That's it. Ito, I can simplify the given. Okay? So, ito, negative 30, 40, 30, 40 are both tuloy. All of them are divisible by 10. So, pwede ko itong i-factor out by 10. So, mangyari dyan, this is 10 times negative 3 times ln of cosine of pi over 3. By the way, kung gusto nyo mag-substitute, sige na, bahala na kayo. Basta ako isi-simplify ko to. This is 4 times ln of, wait lang. So 4 times ln of sine of pi over 3. Okay. Plus 3 times ln of cosine of pi over 6. Okay. Plus 4 times ln of sine of pi over 6. And yun. So can we still further simplify this one? Pwede naman. Pwede guys. So ito guys again, you can skip this one kung gusto mo lang sagot. Pero para sa akin, I will continue simplify this one. So it's on you. Nasa sa inyo guys No hard feeling. Nasa sa inyo na yun kung gusto niyo. Okay? So this is 10 times itong si negative ln negative 3 times ln of cosine pi over 3. I can actually rewrite this one into different way. Remember na ito ln of a raised to b, naalala nyo to. So, pwede nyo siyang babaan, okay, ng exponent, di ba? Pwede naman. So, we can put this back again from the top. yung exponent. Okay? So we can do that. Alright, let's give it a try. So this is basically 10 times ln of cosine, wait lang, wait lang. Okay, ln of cosine of pi over 3. Tapos pwede nyo lagyan to ng ng exponent dito. Or much better, dito na lang. Dito na lang. Which is negative 3, di ba? Negative 3 plus ln of sine raised to negative 4 to of pi over 3. Okay? Plus ln of cosine of pi over 6 raised to 3 to, raised to 3. Plus ln of sine raised to 4 of pi over 6. Ayan. So that's it. Okay, so that's it lang naman. So kayo bahala kung anong gusto niyo gawin dito or simplify. Ako actually pagod na ako. David, why you keep torturing us? Sorry na. So we can just use calculator. Okay? Kasi ako, I believe in simplification. If you simplify, the better. Para sa akin, the better. Kasi kung hindi, I don't know what will happen. Sige, let's use now calculator. Sige guys ha. Okay, going back. So, we can still further simplify this one. Pero again, nasa sayo na yun kung gusto niyo yun. So this one would be, wait lang. Kasi wala na yata akong spasyo. So this is 10. Wait, there you go. 10, yeah. Tapos times ln of, pag-combine ko na lahat sila. Okay, do you know why? Because, according dito, wait lang purpose. According dito, ln of AB is equal to ln A plus ln B, diba? So we can also have further letters like A, B, C. So this is ln of A plus ln of B plus ln of C. Okay? Teka lang wait lang Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So ganun gagawin natin. So, especially na rin kapag meron tayong mga, ay teka lang, bakit may B? So, ito, A, B, C, D. So, ito can be rewritten as ln of A plus ln of B plus ln of C plus ln of D. Wait lang. Bakit? Naging, okay. So, that's it. The ln of C plus ln of B. Ayan. So, you see, ito, since we have, ilan sila? 1, 2, 3, 4. We can make this one into this. Okay, pwede na rin yan. So, yun. Kayo bahala guys kung gusto nyo simplify. Alright, let's go. Sorry guys if ever I had a pause moment just to check if tama ako. And at the same time, tawag ito, may ginagawa ko. Sorry. Okay. So, ln of, dito, lagay natin, lagay natin dito. Yan. So, ln of cosine raised to negative 3. Oops, wait lang. Naglalag ako. Naglalag ako. Okay. Ayan. So this is pi over 3. Okay, times sine raised to negative 4 of pi over 3 times ito, cosine cube of pi over 6 times sine raised to 4 of pi over 6. Ayan. Ayan. So, approximately, ang value na makukuha ninyo is negative 5.49. Yan yung maging sagot niyo. And if you guys are wondering, wait a minute, gumamit ako ng calculator, di ba dapat ang sagot ay negative 371 something or negative 1,588? Alam ko, baka may mga iba dyan nagsagot doon. So, I tried to, again, recheck. That's why I had a pause ko. Wait a minute, tama bang ginagawa ko? Oh, kasi sa calculator, ang sagot niya kasi, if you're going to find its answer, if I remember correctly, is negative 375 approximately. Okay? So, dito kasi, ang ginawa ko, nag-search ako sa Google. Meron tayong na tinatawag na integral calculator o yung mga Wolfram Alpha. Sine-check kung tama. Kasi when I use this method ito, yung pagka-simplify ko, ito rin, pagka-simplify ko, lumabas approximately negative 5.49 approximately. Then sa calculator, hindi. Approximately negative 371 something. Kaya doon, nagtaka ko, bakit? Then yun, sinerch ko naman sa isang site na integral calculator, tama naman pala ako, negative 5.49 approximately. Okay? So, search nyo lang to, may site kasi dyan for further checking. Search nyo, integral calculator, step by step. Okay? Tapos, Wolfram Alpha. Okay? I did some checking kung tama ba ako. Okay? So, there are some other math sites na bibigyan ng answer rito. But, as of now, ito mabibigay ko sa inyo. Okay? For verification to guys, for verification. And if you're asking me, na bakit kaya sa calculator ibang resulta? O yung iba nakakuha lang yata approximately 7 or negative 7. Well, I think it's because yung pag-input nyo rito ng pi over 3 dito sa calculator, maybe hindi naka-rad function. Kasi ito, naka-radians na to, radian. Okay? Or, kung hindi naka-rad yung function mo, i-convert mo lang to by degrees. Tulad nito, pi over 3 times 180 degrees all over pi is equal to 60 degrees. Okay? Tapos ito, si pi over 6 times 180 degrees over pi is equal to 30 degrees. So kung wala kayong rad function, gamitin nyo to 60 degrees para kay pi over 3 at saka si 30 degrees para naman kay pi over 2. Okay? We good? Okay. Yan. Next, punta tayo sa 12th problem. Dito naman, actually you see, napakahaba kasi tinan mo to. X raised to 7, ito 2x cubed. Pero you know, parang madali lang naman siya actually. Kasi yan, naka-expand na siya. So we can just, integrate. It's easy. Gawin natin yung ginawa natin dun sa 10th problem tulad nito, di ba? Tulad nito, di ba? Pero guys, there is a technique actually. May technique yan. Okay. Meron tayong tinatawag na even, wait lang let me use different color. Meron tayong kasi yung tinatawag na, wait lang let me use, yeah, purple. Even, odd, function, tapos ang topic nun is about integration. Okay? So, here's the thing First, meron kang definite integral to guys definite Definite. Okay? Definite. Definite. Okay? Ayan. So, let's just say, meron kang meron kang dalawang limits. Magkaparehas yung number, pero magkaiba ng value due to its sign. Itong si A, positive. Ito naman, negative. So, let's just say, you have like this one. Function. Okay. So, if f of x mo or function is, is odd, ang mangyari dyan, this is what? 0. Okay, 0. Pero kapag sabihin natin, okay, let's just say if f of x or function is even, this is what? 2 times the integral of function. Pero yung upper limit mo ay si a, tapos yung lower limit mo ay 0. Okay? So, again magkaparehas lang yung number. Okay? From lower limit to upper limit, same number, but different values. Yung isa negative, yung isa positive. Yung naka-upper, siya yung positive. Yung naka-lower, siya yung negative version. Okay? So, punta tayo rito. How would you naman kapag, kapag siya ay even? Sorry. How would you naman kapag even siya or odd? So, short recall, malalaman mo naman na odd if, okay, if nabago lahat ang ang sign each of the terms. Pero kapag even, kahit na ilagay mo si negative x sa input mo, hindi pa rin siya magbabago. Okay? So ulit, how would you know if the function is odd? Simple. Substitute negative x sa x dito and tignan natin kung lahat ng terms sa function na ay nagbago. In terms of sign okay? Nagbago yung sign nila. Lahat as in. Pero kapag na-substitute mo, tapos, hindi naman nagbago ang sign, even. Okay? Pero what if mayroong nagbago, pero yung iba hindi. Like some changes, some don't. So yun yung neither even nor odd. Okay? Neither. Hindi siya even nor odd siya. Okay? Okay. So remember this one guys Remember this one. So, tingnan nga natin kung tawag nito, kung function nito ay odd or even. So if I'm going to substitute negative x dito, negative x raised to 7 minus 2 times negative x cubed. So magiging negative x7 minus 2 times negative x cubed. So therefore, ano ng resulta? Ang resulta nito ay what? Wait lang Negative x raised to 7 plus 2x cubed. So you see, lahat ng signs are changed. Okay? Lahat ng signs nag-change. Wait lang All signs na lang. Mas maganda. Wait. All signs are changed. Okay? Therefore, this is what? Odd function. Odd siya. O it is an odd function. So therefore, okay. So from, ito diba, 1, -1, tapos x raised to 7 minus 2x cubed dx. Wait lang there you go. Ay, tama. From this one to this, ang mangyari dyan, the answer is 0. And we're done. Yun yung sagot natin. 0. Okay? Kasi, again, same number, pero magkaiba ng sign. Yung isa dito, si upper limit positive, yung baba, yung lower limit ay negative. So kapag yung function mo ay odd, okay, which is this one napakita ko, therefore ang resulta is magiging 0, which is ito nga. Okay, ito nga. Okay? That's it. Okay, finish. Wait lang Negative. Okay. So that's it. Next to the 13th problem. Hala, mahaba to guys. This one is very, very, very complicated. As you can see, e raised to x plus secant x times tangent squared x plus cosine squared x. Do you think you can solve this one? Kasi ito, this is very complicated. Napakahirap tong problem na to. Or actually, maybe this one is not yet hard. Kasi sa next exercise, baka mas mahirap pa to. Pero this one, anong ko na yung sagot dito? The answer here is 0. Do you know why? Kung bakit 0? Kasi there's a property of a definite integral. Let's just say, magkaparehas yung a. Okay, yung upper limit mo, si a. Yung lower limit mo, si a. Hindi hindi magkaiba ng sign. Kumbaga magkaparehas sila. Whether this is positive, dapat positive din to. Whether this one's negative, then negative din ito. Gets yung point ko? Kumbaga magkaparehas silang value. Yung upper limit at saka yung lower limit mo, they're just the same. Okay? So, if yung function mo na i-integrate mo ay may the same value ng lower at saka ang upper limit mo, 0 na yung sagot. Therefore, 0 na nga yung sagot. Kasi pi over 6 is your upper limit and pi over 6 is your lower limit. Therefore, ang sagot dyan ay 0. 0 na yung sagot ninyo, guys. 0 na. Kaya again magkaparehas, upper, lower, the same, automatic 0 na. Okay? This one, maybe I will discuss this in the future. Mahirap to actually. Next. Hala, ito naman. This one, nako, very hard. No, it's not hard. I'm not kidding. Hindi ako nagbibiro. Dito mahirap. This one is actually easy. Alright? So, you see, this is complicated. Pero we can further simplify this one. We can. And how do we do that? So, we're going to use laws of logarithm. Okay? So, where's my purple pen? So, dito, according daw rito, yung power rule of logarithm, na kapag meron kang exponent sa argument mo, pwede namang gawin natin yung b times ln of a. Yan, pwede namang ganyan yan. So can we do it here? The answer is yes. Pwedeng pwede. Okay, pwedeng pwede. So this is what? Okay, the integral of x plus 3. Okay, tapos times 4x squared plus 24x raised to 10 times ln of e. Wait lang ayusin ko lang to. Times ln of e. Pangit. Sorry. Ayan. Ln of e. That's it. So, ito pa. We can further simplify this pa. We can. Pwede pa. Alright, bakit? Ln of e is equal to 1. Ito pa, one of the laws of logarithm. Ln of e is equal to 1. Okay? So, pwede natin itong i-substitute as 1 ito. Okay? So, this would be integral of x plus 3 times 4x squared plus 24x raised to 10 times 1 dx. Pangit. Lahat na lang. Sorry. Ayan. 1 times dx. And again, anything multiplied by 1, ano maging resulta? So this is, x plus 3 times 4x squared plus 24x raised to 10. Ayan. Yan na yung magiging resulta natin. So you see, this one is, parang madali lang na-simplify ko na. Pero guys, I'll give you a shortcut na lang. Okay. Kapag ito whenever you encounter this next time, ln of e raised to b is equal to b. Remember this Remember this. Okay? Kung anong ginawa natin kanina, yan ang ginawa natin dito. Okay? Okay guys? Ln of e raised to b is equal to b. Okay? So nagigets nyo? Pampa-shortcut lang. Yun naman pala may shortcut. Why would you introduce us this? Itong dalawang laws of logarithm. Para ma-practice nyo yung critical thinking ninyo. Okay? To improve your critical thinking. Kasi there will be a lot of, a lot of things na pwede ito mangyari. Sometimes magulo. So, ano gagawin mo, di ba? So, ito yung shortcut niya. Pero, para at least ma-prepare kayo, okay, alam niyo yung basics ng laws of logarithm. Okay? Okay. So, yun. We're done. So, we can now look at this one. Ito naman, this one is, it's possible to expand, pero tingnan mo, ang laki ng value ng exponent. 10. So, anong gagawin natin dito? What can we do here? So, this is the same problem we encountered sa 8th problem. See, this one. X squared plus 3 times 1 half of times 2x cubed plus 18x raised to 1 half. Hindi mo to kayang expand yan kasi yung exponent ng 2x cubed plus 18x ay naka 1 half. Okay? Naka-fraction. So, it's impossible to, expand. Alright? Unless na meron kang method or way to simplify this one, I think it's possible. Alright? Pero, dito naman, hindi fraction. Rather, whole number naman. So, yeah, possible. You can expand this one, tapos, integrate mo na sila isa't isa. Diba? However, look at this one. Look, it's raised to 10. So, napakalaki. This one is so long to the fact na you really, really, really need to, have a lot of time to expand this whole expression. So, anong gagawin natin dito? So gagawin natin yung ginawa natin kanina sa 8 problem. Use substitution. Remember, when it comes to this situation, feel free to use substitution. Basta ang mahalaga, hanggat sa dulo, si U at saka si DU ang matira. Okay? Okay. So now, let's have this substitution. Let U be, yun yung polynomial na may napakalaking value, which is 10. So let U be, 4x squared plus 24x. Ayan. So let's get the derivative of your U. So this is what? This is 8x plus 24. Okay? So paano ito nakuha? Ito, this is by power rule of differentiation. Ito naman, derivative ng isang term na kung saan meron kang variable and a coefficient or constant, tapos yung variable mo, meron siyang exponent ng 1. So basically, ang gagawin mo lang dito is just tanggalin mo lang si x. Remove x. Dito naman, si 4x squared, power rule lang to, and yun. Okay. Makukuha mo na siya dyan. Okay na? So, that's it. Ngayon, again, kung nakuha natin si U, nakuha natin si DU, anong gagawin natin? Dapat daw, di ba, si U at saka si DU, dapat si U at saka si DU lang ang matira. Therefore, let's try to find the value, actually, the value. Let's try to find dx. Yun na, much better. Let's find dx. So, by finding dx, let's divide the whole equation by 8x plus 24. So, ang resulta ay 8x plus 24 times du is equal to dx. Ayan. So, yun, we can now further substitute. So, this is 2, 0, integral of x plus 3 times u raised to 10 times dx, which is t 1 over 8x plus 24. So here's the thing though, pwede pa kaya itong i-simplify? The answer is yes. Pwede. Okay? Para matira lang si u at saka si du, we can simplify this one. By how? Factor 8 from this polynomial. So this is, okay, magiging x plus 3 times u raised to 10 times 1 all over. Factor natin si 8 dito sa polynomial na to. So this would be 8 times x plus 3. Okay. I just basically remove 8 from this expression. So I factor it out. So naging 8 times x plus 3. Okay? Okay. So, ngayon, since we have x plus 3 dito and sa baba, we can now further cancel this one. So we will have the integral of u raised to 10 times 1/8 times du. And since 1/8, it is a constant term, no matter if it's a fraction or a whole number or rational or irrational number, ilabas natin siya. So this would be 1/8 times the integral of u raised to 10. So, are we done? Okay? Are we done tuloy? So, you think sapat na ba si U substitution? Yes, sapat na sapat. Kasi, dapat when you use U substitution, dapat ang matira lang ay si U at saka si DU. Okay? Yun. So, kung ganon, what would be now the rule of integration na gagamitin natin? Ang gagamitin natin ay yung wait lang ha, is yung tinatawag natin power rule of integration. Okay? Which is yun? Ito yun guys. X raised to n dx is equal to x raised to n plus 1 all over n plus 1 plus c. Ayan. So that's it. So ngayon, what we're going to do is integrate this one. So 1/8 times, pag ni-integrate natin to, magiging ano to, u raised to 10 plus 1 all over 10 plus 1. And don't forget this line. It's basically 2, 0. Okay? So yun, you will have 1/8 times u raised to 11 all over 11. Ayan. Finish. Tapos na. Okay? So na yun, since meron na tayong naka-integrate na u, we can now put u back. Balikan natin si u. Yung u natin is equal to 4x squared plus 24x, di ba? So therefore, meron ka ng 1/8 times 4x squared. Oh, wait lang. Wait lang. May mali. Yan, dito tayo. So yung 4x squared plus 24x raised to 11 all over 11. So this one is so hard. So you can use your calculator here. Okay? Pero if you want me to simplify further, no problem. I'll give you a challenge. Just kidding. So dahil dyan, I'm going to have a bit space. Maglagay ako rito ng kunting space. Okay? So this one is, actually, you know what? Wag na lang. Diretso na lang natin. So this one, magiging 1/8 times, magiging f of b minus f of a. Ayan. So this basically means, ang mangyari dito ay, kunin natin yung f of 2 tapos f of 0. Ayan. So now let's substitute. Okay? Yeah. So this would be 1/8 times, para kay f of 2, substitute natin si 2 dito. So this would be basically 4 times 2 squared plus 24 times 2 raised to 11 all over 11. Minus dito naman, this one is actually easy kasi sa kanya 0 lang. So this would be 4 times 0 squared plus 24 times 0 raised to 11 all over 11. So ito, as you can see, dito pa lang, if you're going to get the value here, automatically this is already 0. 0 na to, guys, automatically. If you want me to see this further, then no problem. Sige, pakita ko sa inyo. So this is 1/8 times, dito, 4 squared is basically 4. So 4 times 4 is 8. 8. Ay, sorry. 4 times 4 pala. Look. 16. Sorry, 16. Yan. Dito, 24 times 2 is basically 48. Raised to 11 over 11. So dito naman, ang resulta ay 0 plus 0 raised to 11 all over 11. Ayan lang siya. So anong mangyayari dito? So ang mangyayari dyan is that itong sa kaliwa, si 16, yung 16 at saka si 48, kung yan mo to, this one is very lucky. 64 is to 11 over 11. Pero ito, wala na to. Kasi, kung makikita mo to, 0 raised to 11 over 11, 0 na to. In short, wala na siya. 0 na lang siya. So this would be 1/8. Teka lang. Wait lang. 1/8 tapos times 6 to 4 raised to 11 over 11 minus 0. Wala na siya talaga. So yun, ang natira na lang, 64 raised to 11 over 11. This one mahaba to. So yeah, you better use calculator here. So yeah, 64 raised to 11 over 11. Wait lang. So ang resulta mo rito ay approximately, tama ba ako? Wait lang. Okay, tama. 8.38 tama, times 10 raised to 17. Mahaba nga eh, no? And we're done. So mahaba nga talaga ang nilakbay natin. Wow. Very, very long, no? Napakahaba. So to be honest, yeah, with the use of calculator, it is actually very useful. Okay, pero para sa akin advice ko is that para hindi manloko yung calculator nyo, like I'm not kidding, like para sa akin, para hindi mahirapan yung calculator nyo, i-simplify nyo na lang siya. Simplify into very simplified na form o expression, okay na yun. Basta naka-simplified na kasi calculator mo na lang kapag napakalaking value. Pero kapag short lang, I think kaya mo naman eh. Basta yun lang guys yun lang ang masabi ko rito. So, before I end this exercise, forgive me kapag make ako ng mistakes, and then there will be other stuffs na yun nga na parang may interruption. Okay. Except na lang yung nag-check ako sa isang site, yung para dito. Wait lang 11 ba yun? Para dito. Nag-check ako ng site dito kung tama ako rito. Okay. If ever mali yata ang value ko rito o nagpa-check ako. And yun nga, tama naman. But to other disturbances, sorry talaga kasi we're quite also busy here. So, this is a live live na integral na exercise na ginawa ko, pero hindi ko sinama yung rest kasi personal na yata yun sa inyo and sa akin. So again guys, before I end this, please subscribe to these two. These two are one of my professors sa aking college. So thank you again for being here with me. And if ever parang may mali akong sinulat, please comment down below. All right? Thank you and have a nice day. See you guys. Once again, I am Math Angel Vade. I am always here to guide you in answering mathematics. See you all.